Leyva was booked into the Lerdo jail on charges of impersonating an officer and false imprisonment. You are being asked to be on the lookout for 16-year-old Elena Marie Panigua, who has run away from home and who is considered at risk. Police say she was last seen Monday morning about 7:30 on N Street south of 6th. She's described as 5'1" and weighs 105 pounds, with black hair with white stripes, brown eyes, and blue braces. She was last seen wearing a black shirt and blue sweatpants. A police chase in Cal City last week led to the arrest of one of two men wanted for stealing a loaded case of scratch-off tickets from a convenience store in Ridgecrest in September of last year. They had been looking for two men, 19-year-old Josh Lambert and 23-year-old Jordan White. Warrants were out for their arrest thanks to video surveillance. It was Lambert who was arrested in Cal City, and they're still looking for White. He's described as 6'5", 300 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. Two prisoners who are serving time in Kern Valley State Prison say they are not guilty of shanking to death a fellow inmate in May of 2024. 31-year-old Andrew Espinoza and 46-year-old Frank Vasquez entered that plea Monday and are back in court next week for another hearing. They are accused of killing 30-year-old Raul Mendoza. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
To the rest world, in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, however you may be viewing. For those subscribing on YouTube, it's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, 5th day of May. It is Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday on a Cinco de Mayo. We got a busy May 5th broadcast. Teresa Goldner has finally come home. She has concluded her Asian excursion and returns to the fold. We'll talk to her at the bottom of the hour. Big gubernatorial debate right after the broadcast. We'll walk you right up to it. All are involved, all 7 gubernatorial candidates that remain. Steve Hilton, who is the leading vote getter thus far in the polls, will be in the center of the arena or the theater or the stage, I should say, with his arch rival Chad Bianco to his left, Xavier Becerra to his left, and Matt Mahan to his left. To Steve Hilton's right will be Tom Steyer. To his right will be Katie Porter. And hanging off the edge, literally and figuratively, Antonio Villaraigosa. You'll hear from Katie Porter, who has a unique ad, but there's another little situation she's forgotten about. I'll remind you when we talk about that. They have a motive for the Pacific Palisades fire. They have scrutinized the man who is accused of starting the fire on January 1st that reignited on the 7th and that led to the just absolute destruction of one of the most beautiful communities in Los Angeles. We'll break that down to you. It's Give Big Kern Day. Give Big Kern Day, where all the local nonprofits, including Honor Flight, Kern County, benefit from your great generosity, which I think is really kind of the staple of this community. It's what makes us incredibly unique, and it's one of the reasons that I've been here for 34 years now. Good God Almighty. Can you imagine that? 34 years I've been here.
That's really?
And I 92. I was in school from 92 to 94. I was at the California until 96.
You showed up here 1 year before I was born.
I understand that, Chris. All right, relax with that.
No, I'm just saying
Let's
that's
keep the
pretty.
chronological.
That's cool.
Yeah, my existence here is older than your total existence. I'm aware of that. And there was a whole nother life of mine that existed before that.
I'm not trying to highlight anything negative, I
I
promise.
realize I've lived 2 of your lives, Chris. We all completely, totally understand that. That when you were born, I had already lived your life.
This is true.
I had lived the life that you've already led.
This is true.
I hate young people. Just can't stand them. Just
that was just interesting to me.
You'll be here one day. That's the joy. I'll be playing backgammon with my dad, but you'll be right here suffering.
You're backgammon? That's the game you're going to be playing?
That's what he loved to play. That was his game. I hated it. I did not like backgammon, but I always played with my pop. What else is going on? We got the Lakers going on. I told Randy this and he laughed at me, but I got a funny feeling. Maybe not tonight, because all we got to do is win 1 of 2. Because you know what? I think LeBron is better than he is. I really do. I think he's just kind of complacent. I wouldn't call him lazy because he's one of the hardest working cats in basketball, but he's taken on like the Kareem thing. You remember Kareem at the end of his career where Kareem wouldn't even come down half court during a fast break? And if they slowed down, if the fast break got thwarted and they slowed down to a half court offense, they had to wait for Kareem to come down to half court. And I don't mean like the last season or 2. I mean like when he still had hair, when he was still scoring like 35 points. He was kind of load managing himself. I think that's what LeBron has been doing the last couple of years. I think he's better talent-wise than he shows, because every now and again he shows it. Like the night that I came in here and said that he was the best, when he had 28 points, he made that last steal. They were down 6 with 28 seconds to go. He makes a steal, makes a 3 to get him within 3, makes another 3 to tie it. And so now I think if he's as smart as I think he is, he's got to be on the 405 headed downtown thinking, if I screw around and beat OKC without Luka, I've got a pretty damn good argument over MJ. This could be my legacy right here. If I knock off this youngster at 41, what's his name? SLA, SBC, SAT. What's the child's name?
SGA.
If I knock off SGA, who is now that Djokovic is out of the conversation, is no question the best player in basketball. Is he not, Mr. Sports Guy?
No, that's very accurate. I would agree.
If I knock off this kid, I can retire this season and say I was the best. That at 41, I knocked off the best player in basketball. Just say it. And that can motivate him. Now, what that's going to do for Rui and everybody else on the ball club, I don't know, because he's going to need a little help. But we'll follow that. And the Dodgers are on fire. They're a 2-game winning streak after playing like crap. And, is it me or does it feel like we've been playing like crap, right? Doesn't it feel like we've been playing crap?
Oh, yeah.
We got the 3rd best record in baseball.
True.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, actually.
We're 5-5 in the last 10 games. We had a crappy road trip where we were 500. We lost 2 of 4 to Colorado. We lost 2 of 3 to San Francisco. We lost 2 of 3 to the Cardinals.
How many did you lose to the Marlins?
We took 2 or 3 from them.
Okay, good.
We did take 2 or 3. That's the only series we've won in the last week and a half. And yet we got the 3rd best record in baseball. Or 4th, maybe. 4th best record in baseball. And we're a game and a half up in the National League West. I mean, if you're the Padres and the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, don't you just have to say, what do we have to do to beat these guys? They're playing like crap, and they're still a game and a half up on us. Shohei's hitting 242.
Do we know the Trevor Bauer situation?
Why? What's going on? Is he?
No. I'm saying, like, in order for them to win, they have to pull another Trevor Bauer situation.
Yeah.
What the Padres clearly did to Trevor, and he has yet to recover from.
You think they set him up?
Oh, of course. Are you kidding?
Really?
She was messing around.
That is interesting.
Think about this. She was messing around with multiple Padres.
Tatis.
and Tatis and
one of the
multiple
relievers.
pitchers.
Yeah, one of the relievers.
Absolutely.
Wait, stop. We're talking about Trevor Bauer, who was a Dodger, who got into a relationship with this psycho fan who, as we were just alluding to, had sex with several Padres. The Dodgers go down to San Diego. Bauer meets this chick. They hook up a couple of times. And then on like the third time they go out, and she openly wanted to be abused. He abuses her pretty good, where she looks like a raccoon. And she takes a picture. Bauer's in the shower. She takes a picture of herself, buck naked, all beaten up, with Bauer in the background in a shower. And she's like grinning, which is why I believe she brought this on herself. But now here's Chris's theory.
So again, this woman has now been proven that she had a relationship with multiple Padres players right before this happened,
including their best player, for instance, Fernando Tatis
Now,
Jr.
I'm not saying Fernando sent him, but it would not be out of the realm of possibility in my head.
Well, and it wouldn't be the first time it's been done. Magic Johnson, Dominique Wilkins tells a great story. I'm a rookie, and we're staying at the Bonaventure. And Magic says, how long you be here? And he says, well, we're not leaving till, it's a Saturday night game, but we're not leaving till Sunday. And he says, okay, maybe we should hang out. No, I don't think so. I'm just a rookie. Okay. And he says, that night, I get at my door. And I'm like, I didn't order room service. And I open the door, and it's just, and he goes, and this girl is an 11. And she says, Mr. Johnson told me to come see you. And I was like, Dominique said, no, and shut the door. So you're right. There's precedent for what you're saying. Continue, though. I'm fascinated by this.
This wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. The Padres at the time were trying to creep back up into the NL West to make some playoff hopes happen there. The Dodgers were at an all-time high that they hadn't reached in a while. And from my knowledge from back then, this relationship between Trevor and the woman happened after a Padres series in San Diego.
That's how they met.
So why wouldn't they have paid for her ticket, said, hey, sit around right here and wait for Trevor to come around? And then why else would she have done this outside of obviously to get money off Trevor? But, I mean...
I find it fascinating, but I remember the story.
Evidence? No, but I'm just saying.
And I read the text messages between her and her friend that they were going to introduce in court.
Right.
Where she was like, the friend told her to knock it off.
Right.
And she basically admitted that she was going after his money.
Right.
Basically. So.
Which again, I don't, that's also in the realm of possibility, but I still just have a funny feeling like you with your Lakers that there was something more to that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think he got robbed. But, it's the confluence of a number of things with that guy. You know what I mean? I think if it had been Tatis, I think Tatis would have gotten a pass. Yeah. But Trevor Bauer was a POS from the time that remember when he was in Cleveland and his manager came out and he threw the ball into center field. Yep. And there have been like 3 or 4 of those kooky things where it was just like kind of a final straw thing with Major League Baseball.
Oh, he was definitely a hothead. There's no doubt.
He was a weird character, but a hell of a pitcher. He really was. Think of the pitchers that the Dodgers have lost in the last 5 years to nonsense. What's his name? The wife beater, Julio.
Oh, Urias,
who was an ace. Yep. He ended one of the 2020 World Series.
Absolutely.
And this idiot.
Yep, Trevor.
Imagine if we had both of them still on our staff. Good googling, moogling.
There would be no need for anybody else, really.
Yeah. Sasaki wouldn't be with us. There'd be a couple of guys. Sharon, those guys. There'd be a couple of guys. Sheehan. There'd be a couple of guys.
Bauer's technically playing for like a side league for the MLB right now in a California team called the Ducks. I can't remember what city it is. So there's still a slight possibility he has a chance here. But I don't know. He's making so much money on YouTube stuff, much like what Ragone was talking about with Bryson DeChambeau the other day.
Yeah.
He does kind of similar stuff with baseball, and he makes a ton of money on that. So he may not want to come back at all.
I don't blame him. All right, let's get going. We got to get started. There was big news in the White House today in the press room. Carolyn Levitt is about to have a baby. She has vacated her post. But guess who took her place in terms of talking about Project Freedom and Epic Fury? The Secretary of State, my favorite member of this clown cabinet the president put together, Marco Rubio. You'll hear from the Secretary of State, the former senator from Florida, who says, and I think this slipped the media, it's huge news. He insists that Epic Fury is over. OVA. And they're moving on to Project Freedom. I'll have the Secretary of State explain. And he also made other news by insisting that the War Powers Act, which for all intents and purposes has expired, the 60-day expiration for notifying Congress and getting ratification from Congress, Rubio says it's unconstitutional. This is huge news. You'll hear from the Secretary of State when we come back. And then our wandering regular has returned to the fold. Teresa Goldner joins at the bottom of the hour. We'll get into tonight's gubernatorial debate, which starts right after the broadcast. Talk about the Palisades fire and the motive that they are putting on the suspect. And it's big Kern Day. Dig deep into your pockets and help out Honor Flight or whatever your favorite nonprofit is. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Wednesday edition, Clay and Buck will continue to discuss the ongoing Strait of Hormuz blockade. Are ships moving or not? What is the absolute latest? We will break all of that down. Primary day underway. What is the impact and what do we expect to see with the big primaries coming out of Tuesday? That will be the Wednesday edition of Clay and Buck.
Live at 9 a.m., News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Networks. Business owners, how many times have you called your IT company and felt like just another ticket number? Well, at Adaptive Networks, exceptional customer service isn't just the promise, it's how they do business every single day. And nobody knows that better than the folks here at American General Media, because they are a client of ours and we are a client of theirs. IT is incredibly important for a radio station. We can't depend on somebody saying, well, we'll be out there tomorrow, because all you hear is nothing. So it's do or die for us. That's why we depend on Adaptive Networks. And when you call, you'll actually talk to a real person who knows your name, understands your business, and genuinely cares about solving your problems. No phone trees, no runaround, no attitude. That's what Adaptive Networks are all about. Call today at 661-241-0638. That's 241-0638. Join the IT network that American General Media uses every day.
Gas costs more. Groceries cost more. And Sacramento keeps making decisions like Kern County doesn't exist. Andre Gonzalez isn't waiting around for someone else to fix it. Born and raised right here in Bakersfield, Andre Gonzalez has spent his career delivering for this community. He created a community land trust so working families can actually afford to own a home. He's fought to make sure Kern County gets its fair share from Sacramento to fix roads and build water infrastructure, not just the scraps LA and the Bay Area leave behind. Andre Gonzalez is backed by California's firefighters, classroom teachers, and he is the only candidate endorsed by the California Democratic Party. Join them. Vote for Andre Gonzalez for State Assembly on or before June 2nd. Ad paid for by California Credit Union League Political Action Committee, not authorized by a candidate or a committee controlled by a candidate.
Wow, that is nice.
Kern County's favorite barbecue is back. The annual Piles Boys Camp Barbecue. Saturday, May 9th from noon till 5 at the Piles Boys Camp Group picnic area near Lake Ming. Join us for a family fun day, a delicious tri-tip barbecue, and the biggest prize drawing in the county. Hundreds of prizes till they're gone. The more tickets you buy, the better chances to win. Tools, kid toys, and more. And the grand prize, a big screen TV. Proceeds benefit the Piles Boys Camp for Youth. Tickets are $15 and available at the gate. Kids under 12 are free. Kern County's favorite barbecue is back. The annual Piles Boys Camp Barbecue. Saturday, May 9th from noon till 5 at the Piles Boys Camp picnic area near Lake Ming. For more info, call 703-7663. That's 703-7663. Great food and lots of fun. Saturday, May 9th, the annual Piles Boys Camp Barbecue. Don't miss it.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Yo soy cubano. See? I don't have a lot of time. I got to get after this because I thought that today's press conference was fascinating. But like I said, Carolyn Levitt is on maternity leave, and she's having her second baby with a guy who's like my age, like literally. Carolyn Levitt, the press secretary, the beautiful young blonde. Her husband's like 59 years old. Like, and then I go around chasing 30 and 40-year-olds. So there you go. But so Marco Rubio just went in and handled it, and it was so cool because he was like, he's so genuine. He was like, I don't know how this works, so I'm just gonna like point, and whoever starts talking, go. And it was just really kind of cool. But he made huge news. He says that Epic Fury is over. Let's hear from the Secretary of State.
The operation Epic Fury is concluded. We achieved the objectives of that operation. I'm not going to, we're not cheering for an additional situation to occur. We would prefer the path of peace. What the president would prefer is a deal. He would prefer to sit down, work out a memorandum of understanding for future negotiations that touches on all the key topics that have to be addressed, a full opening of the strait so the world can get back to normal. He preferred that be negotiated through the route that Steve and Jared have been working and that all of us have been supporting. That's the route he prefers. That is so far not the route that Iran has chosen. And so the result has been that the United States has to do something about the fact that we're the only nation on earth that can do anything to open up a lane within the Straits of Hormuz to get product and to rescue these people that are trapped in there. And that's what we're undergoing now. What that may lead to in the future is speculative. I'm not going to speculate about what it would take or what it would do. But look, the message to Iran, these guys are facing, they are facing real catastrophic destruction to their economy, generational destruction to their economy, generational destruction to the wealth of their country, imposed on themselves by the actions that they're taking. They should check themselves before they wreck themselves in the direction that they're going.
Do you like Rubio with the hip hop illusion? Nice. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. But haven't we, in essence, created a situation that didn't exist before the war? The Strait of Hormuz was wide open before the war. In fact, I'm not even sure that the Iranians knew what a incredible piece of leverage they had. But we now given that to them, haven't we? And they still have their uranium. So I'm kind of misunderstood. We're in this now, so there's no turning back. But again, I ask you, what is victory? They still have their uranium. I thought that we dominated their airspace and their sea activity, but yet we have to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Here is more from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
They're holding the whole world hostage. They have these sailors, on commercial ships that are going to starve to death out there. They don't care. They don't care that this is melting down the economies around the world, even of their own allies. This is what they're doing with the straits. What do you think they would do if they had a nuclear weapon? They would hold the world hostage with that nuclear weapon. That's what they would do. They would do exactly to the world with a nuclear weapon what they're doing now with the straits. And I think the president's point is how anyone cannot see that as an unacceptable outcome and an unacceptable risk is beyond him. It's puzzling. And someone has to do something about it. The difference between this president and like the 6 presidents that preceded him were that he's the only one that's actually been willing to do something about it. Everyone says Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, but you got to do something about it at some point. And he's been willing to address that threat. And that's what he promised he would do when he got elected, by the way, is address threats like this.
Well, then what are we going to do about it? Because while we have killed their ballistic shield from defending their nuclear infrastructure, again, they still have their uranium. And as we played that audio last week, when I asked you the poignant question, how many people believe the audio I just played when the president said that we're going to go get it? And that Hegseth said that they're going to give it to us, the uranium. The problem still exists, but the problem now has been exacerbated. Because now there are boots on the ground. As I said yesterday, I'm tired of hearing this nonsense about no boots on the ground. There are boots on the ground. They may be on the ground of a ship, but they're inside the Strait of Hormuz. They're inside the Persian Gulf, and they're susceptible to drones and those little boats that we apparently dominated that we're not dominating. Because they attacked several ships yesterday. They attacked the UAE with missiles that I thought we devastated. So the problem hasn't been solved. If anything, the problem has been exacerbated. The problem that existed before still exists, and a problem that didn't exist, the closing of the strait, is now exists. So explain to me this whole situation, because I don't understand. Maybe it's just my low IQ, but I really don't understand this. They still have nuclear capabilities. The strait is closed. We have men and women in harm's way, and we have no end in sight. And gas is $6 a gallon here in the state of California. But all is well and good. Okay, we'll talk about this more later in the broadcast, but our wayward regular has returned from the Orient. Teresa Goldner is next. Huh?
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and
You were
AM
missed.
1230.
You were missed. You weren't talking
KERN.
about it.
With SRN
She didn't quit, did
News,
she,
I'm
Ralph?
Keith Peters
Did
in
she
Washington.
quit?
The price of a gallon of regular gasoline climbed 31 cents
what
in
I
the
told
past
somebody.
week,
I said I
spiking
whacked
to
her.
an average of $4.48 per gallon Tuesday, according to AAA. That's up 50% since the war with Iran began. Many drivers were hopeful in mid-April amid signs that the conflict could be winding down, and gasoline prices fell daily for almost 2 weeks. President Trump's deals with drug makers requiring many of their U.S. prescription prices to drop could save the economy $529 billion over the next decade. That's according to the first analysis from the White House Council of Economic Advisors of what's known as the most favored nation policy. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 356 points, the Nasdaq rose 258, the S&P advanced 58. More details at srnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
Red and blue lights on the dash of an SUV were used to pull somebody over Sunday morning on South Union Avenue, and Bakersfield police say the person who was pulled over suspected that it wasn't a real officer and made a phone call. Bakersfield PD tracked down the SUV and arrested 40-year-old Nicholas Leyva, who was booked into the Lerdo jail. Last year, a convenience store in Ridgecrest was ripped off of a scratch-off lottery ticket display that was loaded with $5,000 worth of tickets, and police say one of the two suspects was captured last week in a Cal City police chase. 19-year-old Joshua Lambert has been booked, and police are still looking for 23-year-old Jordan White. Today, the average price for a gallon of regular is up another penny at $6.12, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic, the delicious daily detox that will keep you feeling your best. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon or pick up some at your local CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best
Yeah,
part,
that's where I
the
go.
roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Reach like users directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Experience the Bakersfield Symphony
try to get
Orchestra
5 to
in
7
epic scores, the music of John Williams. Saturday, May 9th at Dignity Health Theater. Feel the thrill of adventure with music from Star Wars, the wonder of Harry Potter, the suspense of Jaws, and the sweeping power of Jurassic Park. From heroic themes to unforgettable cinematic moments, this is music that defined generations. Performed live in concert. Join us for an epic night of film music.
I have.
For
Well, no, he
tickets
didn't play
and
this
more
Sunday.
information, visit
I played with the group,
PSOnow.org. Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
By the way, because I'm happy.
Really?
If you
Oh, this, I was thinking about this too. It's a Tuesday, and look who made it back from the Asian region of our world, the Orient, as it is called. It is a place, it is not a person. So don't catch yourself calling an Asian person Oriental. It's a rug, it's an area, but it's not a person. That's like the N-word to them. It really, really is. Is it not?
That is, you know what? That is
Chinese.
that is. It is absolutely.
Welcome home, by the way.
Thank you, Ralph. It feels great to be back.
I can only imagine.
So fun.
And you're clad in a gift.
Chinese silk blouse or silk, whatever you
frock
from a silk factory in Shanghai.
Yeah.
So I got to watch. One of the things I got to do was see how they make silk and how they make silk shirts and silk blankets and all that kind of stuff. It was fascinating. I'm China. Wow.
Okay,
all I can say is wow, wow, wow.
Let's walk through the itinerary first.
Well, but before I brought you a gift.
Really?
I brought you a gift and I brought Chris a gift.
Oh, you didn't
but
have
you
to
guys
do
have to
that.
decide what you want. So
Oh, okay.
can
Hope it's sake.
You ready? No, sake.
No
Sorry.
sake?
No sake. Do you like sake?
I love sake.
Do you? I didn't realize
do.
that sake is just wine. I didn't know
Rice
it was rice
wine,
wine.
yeah.
I
Love
thought it was
sake.
more alcoholic than that.
It'll get you.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so I got you two.
Oh,
of
a new
these.
golf hat.
You and Chris have to decide who wants who. Which one? One
We'll go with
stands
Vicky better. I
for.
like
They have China figures on them. I bought this from a shop in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So really nice shop. So these are good caps. These
Okay.
aren't cheesy caps.
Okay.
One of them says, I think it just says, "Hi, hello."
Okay.
I'm not sure what this one says. They told me, but I can't remember.
Well, I'll take hello
So,
just in case I don't
you
want
want
to.
hello?
I don't
You
want
like
to
the red one?
offend. I don't want to offend anybody.
Chris, are you okay with the red one?
I'm completely fine with the red one.
But you have
Red's
to
my
find
favorite
out
color.
what it means because I don't know.
You know what? I will look it up. I'm sure it's something simple like fire or water.
Okay, great. Let's see how you look. Look at that. Looking good, Mr. Bailey.
Thank you.
You look marvelous. Okay, and this is
That's
one
my
of
new golf hat.
really?
Yeah.
Whenever
With the tiger golf cap going.
Yeah.
whenever
I like it.
whenever anyone comes up to you, you can just go like this. Hi. And this is for you. And one of these is for Chris. I'll let you open it up and you can see what it
Shanghai
is.
Buddha Temple.
Yes, when I was in Shanghai, that is one of my favorite cities.
She got us gift bags.
No,
along with
that
the
comes from the
gifts.
shop.
Oh,
Comes from the
okay.
shop.
All right. Okay.
This is from the temple, and
You should go on vacation more often.
it's an active temple in downtown Shanghai, and it is beautiful. It's a
Wow.
bracelet, and it means there's symbols on it, and one means wisdom, one means mental alertness, and the other one means health and wellness.
Thank you,
And
Terry.
it's made with.
Well, this is for you because none of those apply to me.
No, I got you both. You want
Well, no.
one's for Chris and one's for you.
Wisdom, health. How does that apply to Ralph Bailey?
Well, we
you've got
want
me
you to
in
be
wisdom,
healthy and stay healthy. There you go. Look how cool and hip you are now. Will you wear it? It's for a guy. It's a guy's thing, not a girl. So
Do I wear it all the time, or do I just wear it to events?
you can wear it whenever you want. And it's supposed to be infused with certain scents from certain
Oh my
woods.
goodness!
That's
Wow!
supposed to be very healthy for you.
Wow!
What do you think?
That
Stinky or
is-
do you like it?
It's pungent. I'm not necessarily stinky. It's very herbal.
Oh, pungent, huh?
Yes, it is pungent.
Well, hopefully over time it will fade. But it's what the Buddhist monks wear in
Really?
the Jade Temple in Shanghai.
I
The
will
Jade
wear it when I
Buddha
play
Temple.
golf.
Good. Yay.
I will. I'll wear it when I play golf.
There you go.
I really will. Thank you.
You're
That's very
welcome.
sweet of you.
Appreciate
You're
it, Terry.
welcome.
That's very, very sweet.
Wear it
of
in
you.
good health and mental clarity.
I will. I will. When I play golf.
Did you always get gifts from your guests when they come
No.
from out of
Are
town?
you kidding? Nobody gives us gifts. Are you kidding?
It was fun.
Nobody gives us gifts. So walk us through the itinerary.
Oh,
Where was
my
your first? You
gosh.
flew
Uh,
from here to where?
Well, the first place that we went to was Tokyo.
So you
and-
flew from here to New York,
Or we flew from LAX to Tokyo. It was about
LAX to Tokyo, nonstop.
Yep, it was like
How long was that?
I think it was about a 14 or 15-hour flight.
Wow.
It was nice though. It was
How long do you sleep? Do you
How long did I
actually,
sleep?
Yeah. Do you actually
I was
sleep?
so excited I could hardly sleep. I don't think I slept at all. I
Really?
just was so excited. So we got there, we're all bleary-eyed, and the tour guide meets us and helps us check into the hotel. And we
And
were
this is where? Where are we now?
This is in Tokyo.
You're in Tokyo now. Okay.
And we were only there for 36 hours. So we went to we went to dinner the first night, and then the second day
What'd you have for dinner?
I can't remember.
You know what you have for dinner?
I can't remember.
Come on.
But
Like
the
Japanese?
second night we went to this awesome part of, I think it's called Gion in Tokyo, where they have geisha girls
Well,
in
of
that
course they
area.
do.
It's only in 2 areas of Tokyo apparently where they have them. And I got to see a real live geisha girl, but not in the restaurant. She was scurrying from appointment to appointment.
Is she cute?
She was beautiful, Rob.
Really?
She was stunning. I mean,
Young
like,
and beautiful?
she was like a 20 on a scale of 1 to 10. She was
Get
really,
outta here.
really beautiful. And what I heard was they're kind of like leprechauns. You have to sort of
Like
you
leprechauns?
have to kind of
This ought to be rich.
unless you like book an appointment with them.
Yeah.
You only see them if they're going from appointment to appointment. So she was going from appointment to appointment, and she was like,
Now, what is an appointment?
geisha girls are not sex workers.
Okay.
They're
that's what I
totally
wanted
different
to-
than that, and
They just
are,
walk on your back?
They will dance for you. They will feed you. They will give you tea. I'm told that they will actually feed you food if you want them to. They will tell stories. They will entertain you, but that's what they do. That's all they do. They don't do anything else.
You don't get in a bathtub with them? I thought that was part of it too.
I'm not sure about that.
thought they
They
got in
didn't
a
tell me about
bath and-
that. But I saw a geisha, a real
That's
live
what
one.
that's what happened to James Bond. He got all lathered up. What was that? You Only Live Twice, I think it was. Anyway,
I don't
sorry.
think that was a real geisha.
No?
That was a movie geisha,
Oh, okay.
probably.
All right.
Anyway, but so it's interesting because they go to school there. There's actually geisha schools in Japan where they go to become geishas.
I was aware of that
And-
actually.
But if you don't, I talked to a couple of Japanese women about it, and they were saying, I said, would you be disappointed if your daughter became a geisha? And they said, well, probably a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
So it's a
okay.
respected occupation.
Yes, I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is.
All right. Where else?
So,
where else did you go?
36 hours in Tokyo. Then we went to Kyoto, and we went to go see Buddhist temple, Buddhist temple, Buddhist temple. Then we went to Osaka in Japan. We went to 3 places in Japan. Osaka is like just a really cool, hip nightlife kind of place.
Yeah.
It's a little bit grimy, a little bit gritty, but a whole lot of fun. And we went out to dinner there and went and kind of saw the town, but it was pretty quick. We were only like a day here, a day there.
Okay, now what's dinner like?
There.
Like, are you going to Japanese, like authentic Japanese restaurants?
Yes, we went.
or,
We went into authentic Japanese restaurants.
and what are you eating? Sushi?
I
Are
had-
you eating?
I had Wagyu beef.
Really? What's
And
wrong
it
with
was
that?
Really good. It
Yeah,
was
it's the
yummy,
best
yummy,
beef on the
yummy.
planet.
Yeah, I thought it was great. The Japanese food was wonderful. Chinese food was a little bit different for me.
Yeah.
I think authentic Chinese food in China might be for us sort of an acquired taste. I know that for a lot of people it's not.
Not even the zip code of American Chinese food.
I don't think so, except for maybe sweet and sour pork is pretty much the same,
Yeah.
and kung pao chicken is pretty much the same.
Ooh, I love kung pao chicken.
They had a lot of that, but
Very
I also
spicy, I
tried.
bet.
I tried what is it called? Phoenix claw, which is chicken feet.
Ooh.
That's one of the specialties, and I tried that. I thought that was pretty good, actually.
Did you really?
And when I was in Japan, the first thing I had was the couple that we were with, the woman in the couple that we were with, our friend, she really likes to eat the head of the fish. So she's let me share part of her fish brain with her. And you know what? It actually tasted pretty good. I thought it was okay. I was hoping it would make me smarter, but I don't think it did.
Fish brain.
Yes.
Okay.
But that was in Japan. That was only for like 3 days. We were there for a short period of time.
I would have to quote my dad, Chris Burdick. But
What were you going to say?
you don't want to know, believe me.
Does it have a sexual connotation?
No,
Mr. Bailey?
racial.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't want to do that then.
He'd say white people.
Well, and then the fun started.
Eating brains, white people. But go ahead.
Brains
I'm sorry.
are really popular there.
I'm
It's a
sure.
total delicacy.
I'm sure. As are pig's feet in the South, but I won't touch that either.
Have you
But
ever had
anyway,
pig's feet?
I have.
They had ox feet. That was part of some of the dishes that they
Yeah.
had. But for me, the highlight was we went to Beijing, and on the first day we went to Tiananmen Square.
What was that like?
Tiananmen Square is huge.
Yeah, I bet.
It's far bigger than I thought it was. It was very interesting to hear the story about the students when they had the demonstration. I think it was a couple hundred people were killed during that thing. It was a very short-lived one. But what's really interesting was they had this huge picture of Mao Zedong hanging there in Tiananmen Square.
Still.
Even after all these years.
Yeah.
And he's on all the dollar bill. He's on all the money.
He's George Washington.
He's everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
Even after what happened with him,
Yeah.
he's still somebody that they look up to because he basically created the new China.
Yes, he did.
And,
Yes, he did. I've told you the most fascinating class I've ever had in my life was a Chinese government class I took with Kay Bragg at Cal State. I hated it because it was from 6 to 9 on Mondays and Wednesdays, but it was the most fascinating class I'd ever taken because I knew nothing about China, as most folks don't.
You talk about the Cultural Revolution.
We talked about the Cultural Revolution. We talked about the rise of Mao. We talked, it was so incredibly fascinating. And just the whole system of the government, how if you're born poor, you die poor. There's absolutely no movement within their
That was
hierarchy.
then. That was then.
It's changed?
Yes, it's changed now. And that's the thing that really surprised me about China. China is nothing like I thought it would be like, Ralph.
Yeah.
It's an amazing country. First of all, physically, it's a beautiful country. It's lush, it's green, it's just gorgeous. I mean, Shanghai, of course, they have their pollution problems,
Right.
but it's such a beautiful place. I mean, there are all kinds of lakes and rivers and trees. And one of the things that we did was we took a 3-day or 2 or 3 night boat trip down the Yangtze River. And that was just incredible. And we went to see something called the Three Gorges Dam, which is a huge infrastructure. The infrastructure in China is just phenomenal. Their freeways are wild and their bullet trains, wow. I mean, they go 200 miles an hour.
That's what I'm saying. High-speed rail is so stupid that what we're trying to do is what they were doing in the 1970s.
Yes.
Basically.
We feel,
It
it
is
feels like we're so far behind them.
It's ridiculous.
I was very surprised at all of that because I thought we were the 800-pound gorilla. I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like China's the 800-pound gorilla. We are far behind them on a lot of different things.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
But it's very interesting. The people there are incredibly friendly. They want to have Westerners come and see China because they think that China has been, the Americans have kind of been gaslighted by the media about China, that China is far better than we think that it is. They seem like they're very happy. They're very friendly. They're very welcoming. They have capitalism all over the place in China. I mean, they've got every store that we have here, plus a lot more. And a lot of people make a lot of money in China. The only difference is that I learned was in China, of course, the Communist Party controls the government. And they decide who's going to be in charge in the government. They're the ones that basically put the ballot up for who's can be elected to, their government there. And they also control kind of who can be placed where with respect to certain companies. In China, you can't own real property the way that you can own it here in the United States. Like you can't have a fee title to property in China. You only own your building and you have the right to use like your apartment and you have the right to use your apartment. And I think it's typically for 70 years at a time, and then it automatically gets renewed according to one of their laws. But you don't actually own the fee simple title to the land. The government owns the land in China, which is very different, than how we are here. But the people are incredibly friendly. I really loved it. My favorite thing of everything was going on the Great Wall of China. That was wild. That was fun. That was so worth all the working out that I've been doing over the last 6 months. It was great.
How long is the Great Wall of China?
Oh, I knew that. I don't want to be wrong. I'm
I can
thinking,
ask Siri.
yeah, I'm not sure. It's either 31 miles. I'm not sure how long it
It
is.
can be seen from space.
It's huge.
I know that.
It's huge.
Hey
But
Siri, how long is the Great Wall of China?
The Great Wall of China is approximately 13,170
Wow.
miles.
it's
13,000 miles?
and what you do is
I would have never guessed that.
Oh yeah, and it's wide and it's winding. It goes up and down, and it can be. There's different places that you can kind of enter onto the wall, and where our tour guide took us. I mean, I worked out so hard because I didn't want to get left behind on the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
You go up to a parking lot, you walk up this hill, you get there, there's a gondola that's waiting for you that takes you up to the Great Wall of China, like up to the high part of the Great Wall. And then you can decide, do I want to go right or do I want to go left? If you go right, you kind of go down. If you go left, you go up. So we decided to go up. And the up part was fun and great. I even had to climb up a ladder inside of the tower to get up to the highest part there. But once you got there, apparently in the last 3 or 4 years, they repaved the Great Wall of China, so it's not bumpy or anything. You can walk along it. In fact, as soon as I got up there, climbed up the ladder, thought I was really doing great, got there, and there's this 4-year-old kid running up and down the path on the Great Wall. And then I ran into this lady who was probably 95 years old, walking with a cane on the Great Wall of China, and I thought, I could have done this.
How tall is it?
Oh, it's really tall. I mean, it's several stories tall. I mean, it's
Is it?
like a building, but it's huge and it's so old, and it really is like a fortress. It's makes sense that they built it. But that was my highlight, was going on the
bet.
Great Wall of China. That's one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Yes, it is. Yes,
So
it is. Like I said, it can be seen from space.
Yeah. In Beijing, we also saw the Forbidden Palace, which is where the emperors and his family lived. Him and all of his hundreds of concubines that he had, where they lived inside the palace walls, and once you lived there, you couldn't get out. If you, for example, if you were a concubine, you're not allowed to leave at all. So that was the rest of your life. The disappointment there, though, was it was so crowded. This is in Beijing. The only time I felt like I've been in a place that was that crowded was when I went to Disneyland when they were having a half-price Southern California special.
Was it just shoulder to shoulder?
Almost shoulder to shoulder. I mean, it was really, really, really crowded because all the Chinese people like to go there too. It's not just foreigners that go there. They're very proud of their country. They're a very proud country. And a lot of Chinese people were at all these different places that we went to too, which was really pretty. We saw a whole bunch of, in China, there's not as many temples as there are in Japan. And guess why that is? Because Mao Zedong did not believe in God. So that's why there's hardly any temples in China, believe it or not.
Well, yeah, that makes sense because communists don't believe in God.
Right. They're not into it the way they are in Japan. So I really enjoyed all the temples that we went to see. Another place that we went to see, I hope I pronounce it right, it's spelled Xian, and I think it's pronounced Xi'an. And that's where they have the terracotta warriors. Remember those?
Really? Yes.
Like a build these China bamboo chopsticks. I got to see the real deal. It's amazing. That place is huge. There are thousands and thousands of these terracotta warriors, and the terracotta warriors were supposed to be the ones that were supposed to be the afterworld army for the emperor, the first emperor of China when he died. He's buried somewhere in that neighborhood, but they haven't unearthed his graves yet, and I don't think they're going to. But a group of farmers who were digging for a well actually discovered the terracotta warriors many years ago, and they're still uncovering these warriors and still recovering them. So that's an amazing. That was remarkable, and those are beautiful.
Yeah, because their civilization is so old.
Yes, I mean we are 250 years.
250 years.
We're little babies compared to China.
Well, did you hear what King Charles said when he was here? You were in Japan. He said that congratulated us on our 250th anniversary, but we in England, we call that yesterday or something like that,
That's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But
let's see, another place.
Let me ask a couple of questions because we're running out of time. What startled you? Was there anything that startled you? Did you see any type of government intervention or
No,
anything like that?
What
Or?
startled me was how open and transparent and honest the people were that we were with.
Yeah.
They talked freely about their government, even the ones that didn't like their government. Some of them were members of the Communist Party, others were not. They have a choice whether they want to join the party or not.
Really?
Only 7% of the population in China are members of the Communist Party. And a lot of them
did not know that. How does that work?
Well, the Communist Party controls the government, of course, and the government is considered, the administrator of the country. But if you're not a member of the Communist Party, you might not get all the promotions that you want at your company and that type of thing. But people are free to either join it or not join it if they don't want to. And so to say that people don't have the ability to object to their government in China, I don't think that's true, because they express their opinions to us a lot about how they felt about their government, and it wasn't always positive.
It just doesn't matter, though, their opinion.
Maybe.
It falls on deaf ears.
Yeah.
The government pays no attention to
Correct.
protests.
The government decides everything.
Yes.
Or the Communist Party that controls the government decides everything.
Yeah.
And
I keep forgetting that this class that I took that gave me all this information and knowledge was 30 years ago.
China.
Yes, China is radically different. It just dawned on me.
Yeah,
I was just talking about this. When I think of 30 years ago, I think of we must be talking about the 60s or the 70s. But I forgot that I'm near death. So 30 years ago, I was in my 30s.
And do you know how long the Cultural Revolution actually lasted?
Yes. Yes.
Very short period of time.
Yes. Like 2-3 years in the 60s.
It was actually, it was
67
either 10 or 11 years. The Cultural Revolutions. Very short.
It was like 66 to the early 70s, no?
Yes, but it was short. It was started sooner than that.
Yeah.
But so he was out, and then once he was out, because basically what he did in the Cultural Revolution destroyed their economy.
Yes.
So they had to start rebuilding it, and so they did when they had their new leaders. And of course, the leader now is Xi Jinping. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And he is quite the powerful man. He kind of reminds me a little bit of our president in the sense that he was supposed to only have 2 terms. And he decided at the end of his second term that he didn't want to leave. So the Communist Party changed the rules. And so now he's on his 4th term.
And he'll be there until he dies.
Probably. He is very, very powerful.
Yes, he's not leaving. And they're meeting next week.
Yes, Donald Trump was there. One of the hotels that we stayed in Japan was when Trump was in Japan at his first term. And they told us that they occupied the entire hotel. It was this big fancy hotel in Tokyo, and they just took over the whole hotel when Trump was there.
You stayed in the same hotel the president stayed in?
We did. That was our first hotel. It was really, really nice. But the best place of all that I had the most fun in was Shanghai. Shanghai was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous. And what a city. Very modern, it's kind of just a gorgeous place. Everything is pristine in Shanghai, much different than what I expected. I thought China was going to be kind of grimy, and a little bit dirty and all that stuff. No, I hardly saw any trash on the ground. Everybody, it was just amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, when the government runs everything and can tell,
Well, they run it pretty well as far as services to the public goes.
Mhm.
Everybody seems to get what they want. One of the things that really surprised me was everybody lives in apartments, and these apartments are huge. They're like, I can't remember how many stories they were, but if you live in China, in most parts of China, and your apartment building is 10 stories or less, you typically don't have an elevator in your apartment building because they want you to walk.
Really?
But if you're above 10 stories, then you'll have an elevator in your apartment building. And these apartment buildings are all the same height. There's some kind of rule about how tall they can be. They're huge, and they just look like big, giant matchsticks that come up all over the place, all over the landscape. And you could see 40, 50 different apartment buildings, just boom, 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 one right after the other in these neighborhoods and in these cities. And it just makes you realize how many people live in China. I mean, we are so small compared to China.
Yeah.
It really opened my eyes as far as our place in the world.
Yeah.
It's very different than what I thought we were.
Yeah. What's the biggest industry?
In China?
Yeah.
I don't know what the biggest industry is in China.
Yeah.
I should know that, but I don't know. I'm not sure. The one I liked the most was the silk factory, though.
What about Japan? Would you prefer Japan or China?
Oh, when I first got to Japan, I thought, I could live here. This is great. This is awesome. This is beautiful. Because it's so peaceful there, and the people are very kind and peaceful.
They're such a great attitude.
But the Chinese people don't like the Japanese people because, of course, the Japanese people invaded China and killed a lot of people in previous occupations. But once I got to China, I really liked China. I could go back to either country, but I was most surprised in a positive way by China. I would go back there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I really would. I hope you get the chance to go there.
I doubt it, but
if you do, you'll be really surprised.
It would be bizarre because they are our mortal enemies,
It didn't feel like we were their mortal enemies when I was there. I mean, everybody was so friendly to us. I mean, really, not just, people on the tour and tour guides and stuff like that, but people that we met as we went to different places. No, I didn't feel any type of discrimination or animosity because I was an American. Not at all.
That's good.
It was good. Very different than what I thought it would be like. It was a really positive trip and a really positive experience.
Well, that's outstanding. I'm happy for you. I really am.
Thank you.
And you look very happy in your
My little
kimono or sash or frock,
scarf,
whatever you want to call it. I'm really happy that you're back. Happy that you had a great time.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate the gift. Shouldn't have done that.
Well, I hope that you wear it in good health
and
mental alertness.
I definitely will. Teresa Goldner, our ambassador to the Orient. Quick time out. We're heading to the Ford. Don't go anywhere. That was great. That was really cool.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Two Indiana incumbents face competitive congressional primaries. Correspondent Bernie Bennett reports.
Republican U.S. Representative Jim Baird in West Central Indiana faces two primary opponents in a test of his strength as he seeks a fifth term. The district has been under Republican control for more than 30 years. 80-year-old Baird has been endorsed by President Trump, while challenger State Representative Craig Haggart has been endorsed by State Attorney General Todd Rokita, a vocal Trump supporter. Democrat U.S. Representative Andre Carson in the Indianapolis area faces three primary challengers. Carson has been in Congress since winning a special election in 2008. Bernie Bennett reporting.
In neighboring Ohio, primaries for U.S. Senate and governor will lock in the candidates for two major races with national implications. And in Michigan, voters in a bellwether district will fill a vacancy in the state Senate, a race with implications for the balance of power in a battleground state. A late snowstorm could be Denver's biggest of the season.
Residents in Colorado and Wyoming bringing out the snow blowers, experiencing a late spring storm. National Weather Service meteorologist Zach Hyris in Boulder.
This one certainly turns some heads when you start talking about the snowfall amounts we have in the forecast.
Some higher elevations in the mountain could get up to 2 feet of snow, much less in lower elevations like Denver, and then some places just rain.
For most seasoned Coloradans, we kind of know that there's quite a bit of change here as you go through April and May.
All that snow and rain could help drought conditions. I'm Julie Walker.
On Wall Street, the Dow up by 356 points today. The NASDAQ rose 258. The S&P 500 advanced 58, and oil was near $103 a barrel. More at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Hi, my name's Neil. I have some advice for you if you've been trying to break free from credit card debt. You can start by doing what I did. Get your bills together and call Trinity Debt Management. Trinity is dedicated to helping people like me become debt-free. When I called, my first experience was a feeling of relief. My counselor was kind, and best of all, she didn't judge me. In just a few minutes, she helped me figure out a plan that consolidated all my bills into one lower monthly payment. This substantially reduced my high interest rates and put me on the road to success. In the end, I saved thousands in interest, and today my credit card debt is a thing of the past.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Neil. Take it from someone who's been there. Call Trinity and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Heavy.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
A fake cop caught by the real cops. I'm Chris Davis, and police say the man had a red and blue light on his dash and was able to get someone to pull over about 8:30 Sunday morning. That happened on South Union Avenue, and the person who was pulled over suspected something wasn't right about the GMC Yukon and made a call to Bakersfield police. They used video to identify the person and found 40-year-old Nicholas Leyva at 4th and V and the Yukon, and they say the lights were on the dash. Leyva was booked into the Lerdo jail on charges of impersonating an officer and false imprisonment. You are being asked to be on the lookout for 16-year-old Elena Marie Panigua, who has run away from home and who is considered at risk. Police say she was last seen Monday morning about 7:30 on N Street south of 6th. She's described as 5'1" and weighs 105 pounds with black hair with white stripes, brown eyes, and blue braces. She was last seen wearing a black shirt and blue sweatpants. A police chase in Cal City last week led to the arrest of one of two men wanted for stealing a loaded case of scratch-off tickets from a convenience store in Ridgecrest in September of last year. They had been looking for two men, 19-year-old Josh Lambert and 23-year-old Jordan White. Warrants were out for their arrest thanks to video surveillance. It was Lambert who was arrested in Cal City, and they're still looking for White. He's described as 6'5", 300 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. Two prisoners who are serving time in Kern Valley State Prison say they are not guilty of shanking to death a fellow inmate in May of 2024. 31-year-old Andrew Espinoza and 46-year-old Frank Vasquez entered that plea Monday and are back in court next week for another hearing. They are accused of killing 30-year-old Raul Mendoza. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
To the rest of us, a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm gonna make them an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Tuesday, 5th day of May. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. Excuse me, on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. Streaming live at kernradio.com. Well, that was fascinating. Learning a little about the Orient and Miss Goldner's incredible sojourn to the East. I'm not sure I'd want to visit China. I could see Japan. I would love to be on the Great Wall of China. That would be fascinating. I was interested that she didn't focus more on the food. I'm a culture guy, and I like one of the reasons that I want to go to Italy is because of the food, and just the different types of actual cultural food that we take for granted. Like I did find it fascinating that she said that she wasn't really a fan of the Chinese food, and that wasn't very close to what we know to be Chinese food. I found that fascinating. I could have done without the brains, but that was fascinating. That really, really was. And I don't know. I mean, there's no chance of me ever going to China, I don't think. My international dreams, I would love to go back to Switzerland. I've been to Switzerland. I'd love to go back. I would like to go to Italy for the first time, and I would like to go to Spain and Greece. Those are my three: Spain, Italy, and Greece, in no necessary order. But you all know my only excursion out of this country was summer before my senior year in high school. A group, it was a perfect group. It was a small group. It was only 12 students and 6 administrators. Our assistant principal, Stephen Loy, who was our baseball coach, which was really cool because we had a great relationship. And these guys, we thought we were 17 years old. And these guys were like 30. And we thought they were like 50. That's one of the things that I think one of the advantages of going to a private school is that most of the educators are extremely young, even the administrators. And then it's kind of anchored. Most private schools are anchored by the members of the staff who have been there forever, because it's been my experience, at least, both in the 20th and the 21st century, is a lot of private school teachers never leave. You're dealing with, and let's be blunt, we're going to talk about this. Let's talk about it. You're dealing with better behaved children. You're dealing with better behaved parents. The children are better behaved because their parents are invested in this. So they're more motivated than public school kids. And let's be blunt. They're mostly affluent children. So they're better behaved. I'm sorry if you have a problem with that I believe that more affluent children from 2-parent homes have more manners and decorum than low-income children. Only because, and not maybe only because, but because, low-income families are struggling and just trying to keep their head above water, while affluent parents have more time to spend with their children and more time to focus on manners and things of that nature. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just kind of rambling. But it was one of the greatest experiences of my life, getting out of this country and seeing what other nations and other cultures look like. I mean, Europe isn't as shocking as the Orient, obviously, but I still have dreams about it. I really do. I still have dreams of, canoeing down the Ordesh River, and just the sense of adventure, waking up every morning not knowing what the day had in store. I remember one of the days we did a 3-day trip down this river, and we ran into another group of Americans that, there are certain areas of a river, as most of you know, that have it's like a pool of eddies, where it's just like a little lake. It empties into a little bottom area, and it is essentially a lake. And that's where a lot of the groups would stop and kind of swim and spend the day, have lunch. And we ran into a group from LA in France. And it was just like, it was as if they were like our cousins. You know what I mean? It's just, I had never felt that sense of American connection and American pride until I left the country and had been gone, because we were gone for a month. It was a month-long trip. And this was about the second week of the trip. And to see people that spoke English and that were from Los Angeles, of all places. I mean, if they had been from New York, it would have been cool, but they were from LA, they were from the Valley. And so it was kind of, they were from, I think, I can't remember the name of the school. It's a private school. It starts with a C. I think it was Campbell Hall. But my trip certainly pales in comparison to our Tuesday regulars' incredible trip. And if you missed that, be sure to go back tonight on YouTube and listen to the whole interview. Just go to 3:30 on the bottom of the deal, and you can listen in to Terry's incredible description of her trip. And it was ridiculous of her to get us gifts. That was so sweet of her. Anyway, what do you got on the board? Anything?
Yeah, I got a couple.
What do you got?
Finally, we have the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, giving the media the goal of this war. It is to open up the Strait of Hormuz and put it back together for free trade. No toll charges, no mines in the ocean, $60 billion and billions in damages to our military bases, 13 dead Americans. Bring it back to where it was before Israel launched the missile attack on Iran. That's Trump's goal to call this war a victory. And don't forget to fill up your gas tank. Don't just out half in.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that last part meant either, but
well, that's easy to look back and say, as I have said. I mean, you basically echoed what I have said. But on a certain level, I admire the man. Because as Rubio talked about, and in fact, I'm not sure if we played the bite that he alludes to this, but which ones have we played? Do you know which numbers we played?
I know we've played 1 and 3 for sure.
Yeah. He talks about the goal. Here is our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
The goal here is pretty simple. Establish a zone of transit that is protected by a bubble, the United States, both naval and air assets, and then allow ships who want to move through there and get to market, to begin to increase confidence in the ability to do so. That doesn't happen in 12 hours. It takes time to set up that bubble and gain that confidence, but that's the goal. We have been in touch. We've been in touch, I don't know, with a bunch of different liners about moving, and we're hoping to continue to improve the security situation, and we'll start to see some of that movement, and we'll announce it as it happens after the fact. We're not going to be like broadcasting, hey, tomorrow at 12, ship X is going to be coming through for obvious reasons, because that degrades the security. But we feel confident we're going to be able to achieve that. Look, it's not going to solve the whole Straits problem. It's going to solve a lot of it, but it's important to challenge what Iran is doing now. Guys, again, if you take anything away today, and I can't tell you what to write, but Iran cannot be allowed to normalize this control of the Straits. It's completely unlawful, illegal. It's outrageous. And every country in the world should be joining us and condemning it and doing something about it.
And he's absolutely right. And if you don't think that they were going to use this piece of leverage at some point, you're nuts. So if we walk away leaving the message that the Strait of Hormuz is for international waters, then we have created something. And in the meantime, we've also devastated a group of people that have been trying to kill us and the Israelis for 47 years. Why are the anti-Trumpers going to disrespect our military so? So you don't even understand what you're doing. In your absolute hatred for Donald Trump, you're disrespecting the young men and women who have gone out there and almost flawlessly put out epic fury and devastated their nuclear infrastructure, their ballistic shield of their nuclear infrastructure, and their ability to wage war against Israel and their neighboring areas. Now, we are trying to negotiate something where we can modify their behavior. That's really what it's all about. Just trying to change the tone of the Middle East. Now, why the government, why Trump won't say that, why Marco Rubio won't say that, I don't know. I have been very critical of the messaging in this whole thing. That's been the problem. But they need Ralph Bailey, Inc., to come in there and give them public relations lessons on how to wage a war. And the way you wage a war is you go to your allies and you get them on board, or at least let them know what you're going to do. You give them all sense of what's going on, and you get them on board, because you could have made a really good argument for this situation. The reason that our allies don't want to be involved is because they're being dragged in. And who wants to be a wartime leader if it's not your idea? You know what I'm saying? If Chris and I are neighbors and we don't get along with the third neighbor, and Chris wants to take them on and start a war with them, and then all of a sudden, day 2, he says, Ralph, you've got to help me. I'm like, don't get me involved. My name is Bennett and I ain't in it. But if Chris comes to me Monday night and says, look, we're sick and tired of this third neighbor. Are you in with this? Well, not exactly. Well, I just want to let you know that there's going to be a war between the two of us. So either get involved or stay clear. You know what I'm saying? At least it gives me a heads up. That's a kind of a kooky analogy, but you get what I'm talking about. Like, people, when you get into a fight, You either want to be directly involved or you at least want to know that it's going on. You know what I'm saying? You don't want your buddy sitting at the bar just all of a sudden to get up from the table and go strike some guy. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, dude, why didn't you tell us? We could have all gone over there and handled it, or at least we could have gotten our car and ran away because we don't want to go to freaking jail with you. You know what I'm saying? Don't drag me into your situation is what I'm saying. And that's what Keir Starker is saying. That's what Macron is saying. That's what the leader of Germany is saying. Hey, you didn't talk to us about this. Don't drag me into this. I don't want to be a wartime president. I don't want my 4 years in Germany and France or leading the UK having to deal with war. That was never on my bingo card. And all of a sudden you call me up and say, hey, we're involved in a war. You got to help me. So I completely understand how they feel about that. But let's not just poo-poo what we have done to the Iranians and how we have, in some aspects, modified the behavior in the Middle East. And we've sent a message to Iran that if, in fact, you do continue with this, we're going to come after you. At least he set the tone. We've had 6 other presidents who I can play audio of you right now, for you right now, saying they can't have a nuclear weapon. They can't have a nuclear weapon. Well, then what are you going to do? If the left is still screaming they've got their uranium, then how can we not go in? If during the negotiations they told us we're close to 11 bombs, then how can we not go in? And if this is wrong, then what's your solution? Just allow them to enrich that uranium? Give the man at least the credit for doing something. Now, what his motivation was, I have no idea, neither do you. But if you're a liberal and you're an anti-Trumper, you want to say that it's because he was trying to get his mind off of Epstein, he wanted to get the mind off of tariffs, he wanted to get the mind off immigration, and blah, 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 because you can't stand the man. I don't like the man, and I won't even assign those heinous motivations to him. I truly believe this administration said enough is enough. And how most Americans won't give, we're 2 months in. We're 2 months in. If we're 6 months in, I get it. But we're 2 months in. Let's see what these guys can do. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back, check the board, get to the bottom of the hour where we'll get into great story coming out. Actually, yesterday, I just ignored it. We were busy yesterday, but authorities believe they have a motivation for the man accused of starting the Pacific Palisades fire. His name is Jonathan Kindernet. I don't know. Kindr. That much I got right. Kinder, Knecht. Kindernet, 30 years old, Uber driver. And he is a product of his generation. He is what we talk about all the time, what is wrong with this generation. Got dumped by his girlfriend, was alone on New Year's Eve, resents rich people, and he torched one of the most beautiful communities in this country because he's a bitter, lonely 30-year-old. And so these young kids who realize I'm never going to own a home, I may not ever be married, I may not ever have kids, I don't think I even want kids, and I'm sitting here watching The Sopranos on New Year's Eve, they want to take that anger out on everybody else and blame everybody else because they're watching Facebook. Why is my best friend in the Great Wall of China? Why is my other friend in Cabo San Lucas? Why are they at a New Year's Eve party and I'm sitting here watching The Sopranos? We have lost an entire generation of young men. Quick timeout, coming right back. It's TRBS on a Tuesday, right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230, streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.
Luigi's.
RN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk a little medicine with our friend Dr. Vip Dev. John Cox from the Californian will be joining us to administer the news quiz. I will ace it because I generally do, because I get to keep my own score. We will have state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Great way to beat the heat this weekend is to beat it over to Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen. Do you realize there was a period in Luigi's history where they did not have air conditioning? That's right. That's just some of the improvements that Gino Valpredo has put after he basically inherited his family's business. You know, the story is that Gino really had no intention of getting into the family business. That's why you've heard me refer to him as the Michael Corleone. Don't want to get into the family business, huh? No, he's a big football star at Arizona State. Thought he'd come back and start his own business, but the need was there. There was a void, and Gino filled it magnificently. I mean, just think of the things that he's added: the Bailey Bar, the air conditioning, the warehouse. Just so many incredible improvements that have made our single most iconic restaurant the single place to be when you've got relatives coming into town, people that you want to impress, or just to have fun on the weekends and have one of the best lunches you'll ever have. And you voted them in the most recent Bakersfield Californian poll the best restaurant in Kern County. Where would you rather be? That at Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his longstanding and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Gas costs more. Groceries cost more. And Sacramento keeps making decisions like Kern County doesn't exist.
What do you got?
Andre Gonzalez isn't waiting around for someone else to fix it. Born and raised right here in Bakersfield, Andre Gonzalez has spent his career delivering for this community. He created a community land trust so working families can actually afford to own a home. He's fought to make sure Kern County gets its fair share from Sacramento to fix roads and build water infrastructure, not just the scraps LA and the Bay Area leave behind. Andre Gonzalez is backed by California's firefighters, classroom teachers, and he is the only candidate endorsed by the California Democratic Party. Join them. Vote for Andre Gonzalez for State Assembly on or before June 2nd. Ad paid for by California Credit Union League Political Action Committee, not authorized by a candidate or a committee controlled by a candidate.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I might go to my sister's house first. Thanks, man. I wish I was young. I would tear it up tonight. I really would, man. I used to, man. Cinco de Mayo. I preferred Cinco de Mayo to St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Because
You be honest. Go ahead and say it. You be honest. Go ahead and say it.
no, I really can't. I really can't. I really can't. I really can't. But I love Cinco de Mayo. I really do. When I was young, man, we would tear it up. We really would. We'd just bounce around. We'd go from Mexican restaurant, we'd go to Red Pepper, and we'd go across the street to Don Perico's. Then we would gotta swing by Mexicali.
Of course.
Have a double margarita.
Alley Cat.
And that, and then you're right. And then end up the night at Alley Cat. That's the way it would be. And then you would do the whole back in the 90s. Dude, you missed it. I'm telling you, you missed it. This town, we used to be different. This town was a party town in the 90s. You talk to anybody in their 50s or their 60s, and they will tell you, because not only you ended up at Alley Cat because there were like 3 or 4 bars in the alley. There was the place Blue something, Blue Moon or Moon Blue or something. There were like 2 bars that were right there that had live music. You'd go to those 2. Then you'd go to maybe even swing by Riley's. I was hanging out at Riley's, dude, hanging out with sisters. And then you go over, then you end up at Alley Cat. Or you go, I remember one Cinco de Mayo, back in the day, we'd go to the VIP, and then you go across the parking lot to, oh, Lord, what was it?
Shogun?
No, it's way before you. You couldn't come up with it. What was it called, y'all? Where Louis Cruz Beltran and those guys would play every weekend. I was a weekend anchor. And I would literally, on Friday nights, I was the weekend reporter, the live reporter. And I would do my live shot and go straight to this club that I'm talking about across from the VIP. And I could be there before the news show was over. They would have, because the guys knew I worked for KBAK, and they would have it on as I was going in there. And man, those are some fun times. Just live music, live bands. A lot of bars don't have live bands anymore. And just back in the 90s, just about every bar had a local live band going on. And Louis Cruz and those guys were so good. I mean, they played at Kumbaya, Kool and the Gang, Country. Quick time out. More of the broadcast. Don't go anywhere.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he has paused the U.S. effort to guide stranded vessels out of the Strait of Hormuz to finalize an Iran deal. Mr. Trump announced the decision in a social media post on Tuesday evening, saying he was pausing the effort for a short period to give space for U.S. efforts to finalize a settlement with Iran to end the war. He added that the U.S. blockade of the strait would remain in place. Southern Baptist membership sank last year to its lowest level since 1973, but the nation's largest Protestant denomination saw increases in worship attendance and baptism. Those results were released Tuesday by the denomination's research affiliate Lifeway Research. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 356 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
A police impersonator has been caught, say Bakersfield police, and they say 40-year-old Nicholas Leyva, who has been charged with impersonating an officer and false imprisonment, was able to get a person to pull over Sunday morning on South Union Avenue. But that person didn't really buy the disguise and called for the real police, who arrested Leyva when they found his SUV with the lights inside a little while later. You are being asked to be on the lookout for 16-year-old Elena Marie Panigua, who has run away from home and who is considered at risk because of being a runaway. Police say she was last seen Monday morning about 7:30 on N Street, south of 6th. She's described as 5 foot 1 inch tall and weighs 105 pounds. with black hair with white stripes, brown eyes, and blue braces. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Pet stains on your carpet? Carpet Outlet Plus has everything you need to make your floors pet-proof. With over 100 in-stock waterproof floors, Carpet Outlet Plus can solve your pet problems for good. We also stock over 50 colors of pet-perfect carpet. Call, click, or come by today for your free in-home estimate. Don't forget, for the do-it-yourselfer, we also offer free next-day delivery on all qualifying stock floors. And as a bonus, go to carpetoutletplus.com and apply for 12 months no-interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Where do you get those tacos? Those were tasty.
Oh, Lord, I forget.
Man, that was good. Little chicken?
He walks by, I'll ask again.
Those were damn tasty.
No, I asked him when he gave them to me, but I forgot what he told me.
You know? We just had a couple tacos. Those that are watching on YouTube got to sit and watch me eat tacos.
Also, everybody's texting in Todd's.
No, it was Cheney's. Anthony Leary came through. It was Cheney's. I do remember Todd's, though. See, that's what I'm saying. Todd's, Diamonds. They had the place at the Sheridan. What was that called? Al Pulowski's. I mean, there was so much. Charlie Brown's was on the corner of Stockdale in California. I mean, there were so many joints. It was, I'm telling you, in the 90s, this was a party town. It was really kind of a fun place to be if you were young. I don't know what it's like now. I guess they've got the Tiki Co. and they've got Cafe Smitten and all that stuff downtown, I suppose. I don't know. But it was just, it seemed like it was a much more fun town. But it's hard to tell because I'm an old man. And I have no idea. But I just remember tearing it up a couple of times on Cinco de Mayo. 842-537-6842 KERN. What do you got?
Ralph, all you have is questions and sniveling about this conflict in Iran. You sound like one of those leftist, low IQ women on The View. Just watch and see what our president does.
Like what? Like what am I supposed to be waiting for? For him to go personally go get the uranium? I sound like I'm whiny? Okay, well then why are you listening to me? I just don't understand radio. Like if I'm whiny and I'm so ignorant and I'm so this and I'm so that, then why are you so stupid that you're listening to me? You know why you're listening to me? Because I'm not stupid, because I'm very smart and I'm very critical of this situation while supporting it at the same time. Because I'm an American and I feel like when we go to war that all Americans should support the cause and support the men and women that are in harm's way. And I understand what the president's doing. I don't like the way he's doing it, but I understand what the president's doing it and why he's doing it. These people have been a spur under our blanket for 47 freaking years. How many Americans have they killed? How many Israelis have they killed? How many Israelis did they rape and destroy the lives of on October 7th? Are you kidding me? And what's your answer? Allow them to enrich their uranium? Is that your answer? A nuclear Iran? Is that your answer? What is your answer? You're sitting in your mom's basement texting me, telling me how stupid I am, but yet you're listening to the stupid guy, which makes you incredibly even more stupid. So spare me your cheap kidney shots to try to, I don't know what your goal is. Try to make me feel bad? Like, you really think your opinion of me is going to like, oh my God, there's some guy that thinks that I'm not that smart. Oh my God. Why not have an intellectual discussion about the situation? What is your cure for Iran? What is your cure for the Middle East? What do you suggest the president do? At least I have the balls to put my opinions out there for everyone to criticize. But what do? You sit in your mom's basement and you criticize those who have the tenacity to stand up and voice an opinion. That's what makes this country great. People who are willing to stand up and say what they think, as opposed to the Karens who stand on the sidelines and say, well, I would have done that and I would have done that. But you're on the sidelines, aren't you? You're not even in the game. And you don't even have the intellectual capacity to call a radio show and maybe suggest what you would do and explain how I'm so stupid and how you're so smart and how the president's so stupid and what you would do if you were the president of the United States. But instead, you call me sniveling and whining, and yet you propose nothing new. You propose nothing that would further the conversation in terms of settling the Middle East. But I'm the sniveling idiot that you're listening to. I find that incredibly humorous. It's what keeps me going. People like you. Like, no, to be honest with you, and I shouldn't say this, I really shouldn't let out my secret, but I've been doing this 22 years. You grow weary, and I shouldn't say this because it sounds ungrateful, but you get weary of, oh, I love you, I listen to the show every day. I like to hear people bite back at me. Not just snivel and whine about how inept I am, but who are willing to engage in intellectual discussion about the situation. And I prefer people who disagree with me because that's how one learns. You don't learn by being preached to. You don't learn by, I agree with you, Ralph, I agree with you. The classic example is Howard Marcus. Howard Marcus and I agree about 4 out of 10 things. But of the 6 things we disagree on, every time he makes a point, I learn a little something. I may not agree with it, but I learned something from it. Diversity and difference of opinion, in my opinion, is a good thing. It fosters ideas and it moves discussions forward. You, sir or ma'am, are clearly intellectually incapable of that. So you call into radio shows and just complain. Congratulations. What else you got?
Let's see. I went to private Catholic school through my freshman year of high school, finished out high school in a public school here in Bakersfield. You are correct when you make the generalization that parents are more invested in their in the private education. But I have to disagree with you that private school kids are more well behaved. The more entitled, douchey people I have ever known were fellow students at private Catholic schools.
You make a good point. I can't lie.
I think it's more the size of the class that makes it a little bit easier because it's a much.
Well, no,
smaller
I'm dealing with one point of their comment is the behavior of the children.
Oh, we got.
There is no question that these kids, because I suppose was one of them, are entitled children as opposed to the average kid in the neighborhood. Just the fact that you're going to a private school, even if you live in the ghetto and you're the star football player and you got a scholarship to go to Garces, you're still an entitled kid. Even if you're going back to Cottonwood, you're still a pretty entitled kid. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not humble enough to understand that, and I pray to God that I was, because I left you got to understand my upbringing. I'm 20 years younger than my parents. So when I'm born, my parents are baroque. Do you understand what I'm saying? With a capital B, baroque. And my life got better as my father got older. When I'm 10, my dad's 30. He's just getting out of his residency. We're living in track homes in Pasadena and Cerritos. Our house is the Sewsbury's house right around the corner. And I would always ask my mother that, like, why is our house identical to the Sewsbury's house? Like, Carla's room is exactly where my room is. And Monica's room is right where Teresa's room is. And Michelle's room is right where Tina's room is. How is that possible? Well, baby, that's called track homes. Mom, I'm in 4th grade. I don't know what the hell track homes are. And then my parents, Pop started making a little, get out of his residency, gets into private practice. And literally in the middle of my 6th grade, I go from Joe A. Gonzalez Elementary in Cerritos, California, literally in the middle of the school year, to Sherman Oaks and the Buckley School, where I'm sitting next to Larry Ramos in Cerritos. Now I'm sitting next to Leslie Landon, Michael Landon's daughter, literally. And I'm sitting, I remember the first day of school, I was just sitting there staring at her thinking, I just watched Bonanza Saturday night. And there is little Joe's daughter. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. A lot of them are incredibly entitled and know it and take advantage of it and act stupid because they've got the safety net and they can get away with more than public school kids do. But I think for the most part, at least the kids that I hung around with, understood their advantage, to be blunt. Now, again, this is a difficult discussion to have in Bakersfield. And I always say this whenever I talk about this, my belief in the superiority of private school, because this isn't LA. You've got to understand, I'm from Los Angeles as a child. I would have been a part of the Inglewood Unified School District, which, by no surprise, was taken over by the state. Has there ever, in the history of Kern County, been a school district that had to be taken over by the state? That would have been my school district. They even brought in, remember George McKenna, who was considered this guru of a principal because he went into the ghetto and straightened out one of the ghetto schools in Los Angeles. He was kind of retiring. They even brought him in to try to help out. They brought in the guy that was the Secretary of Education. I dated his daughter for a hot minute. They brought him in. They tried to bring everybody into Inglewood. Let me tell you something. Had I graduated from Inglewood High School, I am not sitting here today. I never write for a newspaper. There is no way in the world I could have accomplished the things that I've accomplished in my life had I graduated from Inglewood High School. No way in the world. Our worst high school in Kern County is better than some of the better public schools in Los Angeles. So it's difficult to talk about because we truly do have decent public schools. We really do. Are they better than Bakersfield Christian and Garces and private schools? No. But the discrepancy isn't as vast as it is in LA. It is a chasm in LA. I think it's just a creek's difference here in Bakersfield. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back. We'll check the board some more since we got a lot of text messages. I got to get in the story of the man accused of setting the Pacific Palisades fire. They have assigned, based on obviously his writings on Facebook, talking to friends, things that he's written, things that he said, they've assigned a motivation for his starting one of the worst fires in, certainly in California history, maybe in this country's history. Big gubernatorial debate beginning in about an hour. Oh, God dog it. I didn't VCR it. I didn't DVR it. Can we rerun Terry's interview at 5:30? Let me get the hell out of here. Program director's still here. I'll ask him. Or maybe just run something at like 10 till. So I don't want to miss any of it.
I
really
make
don't.
Terry work. Got to cut it now. So.
Nah, I can't do it.
No.
I can't do it. They'll replay it, I'm sure. See, it's on CNN. Yeah, CNN will replay it. I'll only miss like 15, 20 minutes. But I damn sure meant to DVR that. Because there's all kind of stuff on tonight. That's why I had to DVR it. We got Lakers tonight. We got Shohei tonight. Shohei's on the bump tonight against the Astros. Dodgers going for their third win in a row, trying to put a little something together after playing basically 500 ball for the last week or two. And there's one other thing going on tonight. The debate, Lakers, Shohei. What else is going on tonight, Chris?
NHL.
Oh! Come on, it's Ralph Bailey.
Oh, it's not Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Yes, it is. Tuesday night, baby. And this
no, that's right.
And this is a good one where one of the characters left his wife and is hooking up with this other girl, and it looked great and looked wonderful, and they were just getting along, and she's gorgeous. But unbeknownst, we find out that he was still talking to baby mama, and now it's all going to come to a head tonight, where baby mama is going to sit down with his new girlfriend and spill the beans and rat his ass out. You know your man's been texting me in my DMs and slipping in. It's going to be good tonight. I might not go to bed till like 2 in the morning tonight, just watching TV. Just watching TV. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News
Messmaker.
KERN.
Get ready for the 11th annual Mac and Cheese Fest, happening Saturday, May 9th at the Kern County Fairgrounds from 2 to 6 p.m. This year's event is going to be bigger and better than ever. Enjoy endless servings of mac and cheese, along with refreshing beers, spiked seltzers, cocktails, and live music. Tickets are on sale now. For more information and to grab your tickets, visit BakersfieldMacandCheeseFest.com. Happening Saturday, May 9th at the Kern County Fairgrounds from 2 to 6 p.m.
This event benefits the Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House.
Hope you're with us Thursday when our money man Daniel Petrie joins. It's been a weird week for finances. Gold has been jumping up and down along with silver. That's part of what Daniel Petrie brings to the table when he joins us on Thursdays, along with his political knowledge. We talk politics as well. We really talk about Epic Fury and Project Freedom. But, of course, Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about retirement. It's something that is in the forefront of my mind, and if it is for you, you need to call Daniel at 395-9400. 395-9400. I've been a client now for about a decade. And as I grow old, I'm telling you, it is the wisest financial move I have ever made. If you want to invest beyond just your 401k, talk to the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Call them today at 661-395-9400. That's 661-395-9400. And tune in on Thursday at 4:30 when Daniel joins us each and every week.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey, John, why so glum? I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Here's the tale of Tina, searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance. Here's the tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till GoodRx wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags in a red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton
Hey, what are you
live at
doing?
9 a.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Poor kid. You know the Richie Valens story?
I do not.
He was Ralph Bailey. He was deathly afraid of flying. And like Ralph Bailey, often had, I don't have them anymore, but when I was younger, because I went through this weird period where we first started flying when I was in, because again, like I was just saying, we were poor when I was a kid. So when we would go to Beaufort to visit my family, we would literally drive. We would not, did we go Easter? Yes, we had to, because there are pictures of me when I was a little kid. So we had to go for Easter, and we would drive to South Carolina from Los Angeles. Back when I was a kid, though, we were living in Nashville. I forgot. We were living in Nashville back then. So that's why we drove from there. But when we would go for the summer, we would drive. I think we would fly for Easter because you couldn't drive for Easter. I would take up the whole damn trip. But we would fly for Easter. But over the summer, we would drive to Beaufort, South Carolina. It was crazy. And what was I talking about when I first started?
Valley. Rick, or the story of
Rick. Okay, thank you. There it is. And so I went to then we started flying when I was about 6th grade. And I loved it. I love the takeoff. I love the feeling of being just the rush. I love flying. And they had this back in the day, Chris, they had these headphones that you could wear that you could plug in. And they had like 32 channels and it was different music. And they'd always have like 5 comedians. And one of the comedians they always had was Cosby. And I would just sit there and listen to Cosby for 4 hours. I loved it. Then I started to mature and got smart and start like 14, 15. I started realizing we're in a tube going 500 miles an hour at 35,000 feet. You know, when you're 10, 11, you don't give a damn. But now you're 13, 14, 15, and you're just like, wait a minute now. How does this work? We're going 600 miles an hour at 35,000 feet. This is dangerous. And that's when I started. I wasn't as bad as, I got worse as I got older, believe it or not. I was probably at my worst was in my like 20s and 30s, where I would literally have to get drunk, not have a couple of cocktails like now. I would have to get drunk to get on a plane, unless I was with my parents, obviously, and then I just sucked it up. But I would have nightmares. I would have different nightmares, and they were recurring. Like one of the nightmares I would have was we're landing and the bottom of the plane comes out from under us and we can see trees and everything as we're coming down to the landing. And then as we get near the airport, I wake up. And then there's the other one where the top comes off of the plane. And I mean, I just had all these nightmares going on. And Richie Valens had the same thing. And in fact, he had a premonition that he was going to die on a plane. And he died on a plane. And the circumstances?
I'm not sure, no.
Where the bus broke down. That's why they were taking a plane. And they either flipped a coin or played Rochambeau or whatever. And there's a famous guy that lost. And it's either Merle or the other one.
Buck?
No, starts with a W.
Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings. It's one of those two. And obviously people are screaming at the radio right now. You big dummy, it was Waylon. Pretty sure it was Waylon. But Waylon won. I mean, lost, but he won. And Richie won, and he lost. And he got on that thing with Big Bopper and Buddy Holly. And that, as they say, is the day the music died. I just wasn't that big a fan of Buddy Holly. And as I've always said, as bizarre as it sounds, I actually thought Gary Busey was better than Buddy Holly. Because I went and saw the movie at the Cinedome, whatever that thing is in Hollywood with the big music. And this is in the 70s when this was brand new. And people were dancing. The music was so cool. People were dancing in the aisles. Saw it at a midnight show on a Friday night. And I went out and bought the album. I had never heard of Buddy Holly in my life. I'd never heard Buddy Holly in my life. And when I did finally hear Buddy Holly after hearing Gary Busey, after memorizing that album, I was like, Busey's better than he is. Buddy Holly had a kind of a twangy, high-pitched, Peggy Sue, Peggy Sue, there's a love, Peggy, oh, Peggy Sue. Quick timeout, last hour of the broadcast, don't go anywhere.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN. 96.1 FM, K2 Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
You going somewhere for time?
The news is now at the town hall on Keith Peters in Washington. Biotech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy wins Ohio's GOP nomination for governor and will face former state health director Dr. Amy Acton, who won on the Democratic side. U.S. Senator John Husted has secured the Republican Senate nomination in Ohio as the incumbent braces for what is expected to be an expensive fight to hold his seat. He'll face off against former Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown, who is trying to regain his seat. Across the state border, Indiana Republican State Senator Travis Holdman has lost to a challenger backed by President Donald Trump. Blake Fichter won the first of 7 Republican primaries on Tuesday that are testing the limits of Trump's influence in a deep red state. Trump had backed challengers to incumbents who voted against his congressional redistricting plan in December. What's next for Spirit Airlines now that it's no longer flying?
Lawyers for Spirit Airlines in bankruptcy court in New York seeking approval for dismantling the budget carrier and turning its parts into cash for creditors. The airline abruptly shutting down Saturday after a government bailout failed, blaming in part high fuel prices, which grew by roughly $100 million in March and April. The company's lawyers said they're arguing for a rapid wind-down plan, selling off everything from airplanes and engines to spare parts and limiting additional payroll, leasing, and other costs. Meanwhile, flyers can still get refunds and purchase cap flights on other airlines. Julie Walker, New York.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 356 points. The Nasdaq rose 258, with the S&P 500 advancing 58. More at townhall.com.
If you're hearing my voice, chances are you're either worried about a parent living alone or you are that parent. And you know your family worries about you too. Either way, there's a company that finally got senior safety right.
Nobody's doing
Connected
anything for
Caregiver.
Cinco de
Connected
Mayo?
Caregiver is everything you knew about alert devices, fall detection, emergency button, GPS, reimagined for today. There's a small wearable that alerts your family's phone the moment something happens. Inside your home, discrete sensors, no cameras, no microphones, just motion sensors have you covered even when you're not wearing it. No movement for hours, your loved ones will know. For the kids, you go from hoping everything's okay to knowing it is. And for you, you stay in your home on your terms while giving your precious family the peace of mind they've been asking for. That's not losing independence, that's keeping it. Visit ccgoffer.com to see if you qualify for a free device. It takes 2 minutes. That's ccgoffer.com, ccgoffer.com. Do it today.
Oil.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
A fake cop caught by the real cops. I'm Chris Davis, and police say the man had a red and blue light on his dash and was able to get someone to pull over about 8:30 Sunday morning. That happened on South Union Avenue, and the person who was pulled over suspected something wasn't right about the GMC Yukon and made a call to Bakersfield police. They used video to identify the person and found 40-year-old Nicholas Leyva at 4th and V and the Yukon, and they say the lights were on the dash. Leyva was booked into the Lerdo jail on charges of impersonating an officer and false imprisonment. You are being asked to be on the lookout for 16-year-old Elena Marie Panigua, who has run away from home and who is considered at risk. Police say she was last seen Monday morning about 7:30 on N Street south of 6th. She's described as 5'1" and weighs 105 pounds with black hair with white stripes, brown eyes, and blue braces. She was last seen wearing a black shirt and blue sweatpants. A police chase in Cal City last week led to the arrest of one of two men wanted for stealing a loaded case of scratch-off tickets from a convenience store in Ridgecrest in September of last year. They had been looking for two men, 19-year-old Josh Lambert and 23-year-old Jordan White. Warrants were out for their arrest thanks to video surveillance. It was Lambert who was arrested in Cal City, and they're still looking for White. He's described as 6'5", 300 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. Two prisoners who are serving time in Kern Valley State Prison say they are not guilty of shanking to death a fellow inmate in May of 2024. 31-year-old Andrew Espinoza and 46-year-old Frank Vasquez entered that plea Monday and are back in court next week for another hearing. They are accused of killing 30-year-old Raul Mendoza. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
To the rest world in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm gonna make them an offer again.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday. Boy, the bars are going to be hopping tonight. Not even the young fellas, the 31-year-old, the 40-something-year-old down the hall. Randizzle is a married man. He ain't doing nothing. Nobody around here is doing anything except for the old man who just made plans and now realize I have to cancel them. I got to see the debate. I got to see Shohei. And I'd like to see LeBron upset OKC. I can't go anywhere tonight. I'm just not listening. That's a pretty bad excuse. I'm going to go with the governor's debate. as my reason.
I was going to say, you
I'm
could
not
watch
mentioning-
the other two technically at a bar if y'all end up going out, but
True that. Well, no, yeah, because I bet Pyrenees is just jumping.
I guarantee that.
Jumping.
I do wonder what places are going to be popping tonight, just because of my
Why
own
aren't
life.
you going out at 31?
I got some stuff to do, and honestly, I just don't feel like it.
Man, when I was your age, I it's weird how you just changed. I loved because you only wanted to go to the places that were crowded.
Yeah.
You only wanted to go to the noisy places.
Of course.
Now, I'm like, no, look at all them people in there. You hear that noise coming out of that joint? I ain't going in there. I like going to the quiet bars. That's why I love Mexicali. There's no music. There's no, everybody behaves. There's no drama. All it is the little TV above the bar, Georgie, Tino, or the other Tino. That's why I love this. It's very quiet. You know another bar I like? Red Pepper. Same thing. It's quiet, but it's kind of, Red Pepper's a little more rambunctious than Mexicali.
Yeah.
I think
can agree with that.
Mexicali's crowd is a little bit older. They're kind of my crowd, while the Red Pepper crowd is a little bit younger. Boy, if those walls could talk, though, Jack. Back when Georgie, old folks, you know what I'm talking about. When Georgie and Michael used to bartend, Michael was the big tall guy that looked like Santa Claus. He had a white beard and white hair. And Georgie was the guy that I stole the phrase, "What's really going on?" It's exactly who I stole that from. And man, and his girlfriend was like the head waitress, although she wasn't really his girlfriend, but everybody knew that what was going on. And man, we'd be in there. I can say this now because it's changed ownerships. We'd be in there till 2, 3 in the morning. There'd be some nights where they would put in cassettes where we would watch like Richard Pryor concerts or old boxing matches and just stay in there drinking till 2, 3 in the morning. Because I used to live right there. I used to live in the Northeast. But those were the days, my friends. They said they'd never end. Big gubernatorial debate coming up in less than an hour. Steve Hilton shall be in the center. To his right will be Tom Steyer, Katie Porter, and Antonio Villaraigosa. To his left will be his arch rival that was standing right next to each other. This ought to be rich. Chad Bianco. Because Bianco really hates Hilton. And I told myself, because, I don't know about y'all, but I got my ballot today.
Nice.
And I said, I am not going to open this until after the debate because I'm almost certain who I'm going to vote for the governorship, but I'm going to wait for this final debate. And then I will fill this out on the air tomorrow because I want both of them, obviously, to finish first and second so we guarantee ourselves a first Republican governor since 2006. And you guys really should watch some of the more liberal shows like I do because they are panicked. They are panicked. They talked about it on the Abby Phillips show yesterday. And Caitlin, what's the girl's name? She's hosting the damn thing tonight. What's the CNN reporter from Alabama that's hosting the thing tonight? Starts with a K. Collins. Kirsten Collins, Katie Collins.
Caitlin Collins.
Caitlin Collins. She's one of the hosts. She's very good. She's from Alabama. She's a Southern girl. Went to UA in Tuscaloosa. And they talked about it in great detail last night on her show because Collins' show comes on at 6. Abby Phillip comes on at 7. And I DVR both of them, kind of scan through both of them. I don't really watch them. I just kind of scan. If they have a topic I want to focus on, I'll listen in. But they are panicked that 2 Republicans are going to be at top of the leaderboard. And I'm telling you, now I'm convinced 100%, as much as I'm convinced the sun's going to come up, that if Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco finished 1-2 or 2-1, doesn't matter which one is which, the jungle primary will die. It still might die because this was way too close to call, and these idiot Democrats are too stupid to listen to their party chairs. Where, what is Antonio Villaraigosa doing in this debate tonight at 5%? You know what I'm saying? Tony Thurmond did not qualify, apparently. I don't know whether he's pulled out or not. He is not in the race. But Villaraigosa really is the only one has absolutely no chance. Well, you never know, I suppose. But Katie Porter is the topic of the discussion because, excuse me, she has a new ad out. And I didn't think Chris would be able to find it, so we don't have the ad. But it's basically, it's a basic ad. And then at the very end, she has her entire staff behind her. And she closes it out by saying, "Now, would you please get out of my shot?" Which is I guess, a humorous satire of her own breakdown when she was talking with somebody in the Biden administration. And it was a teleconference thing, a FaceTime thing. And Katie Porter misspoke. So her aide came into the shot and said, "No, his name is Ralph Bailey." And she was like, "Would you get out of my shot?" And the aide was like, "Well, I was just trying to tell you that you got the host's name wrong. It's really not Robert Bali, but Ralph Bailey." "All right, but get out of my shot." And so this new ad is a takeoff on that. The problem with it is, though, Katie, that's not your only problem. There's the issue of you pouring mashed potatoes on your ex-husband's head, and this classic interview during your gubernatorial campaign.
We've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that.
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you.
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered us.
I don't care. Okay. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list.
No, you don't.
And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make.
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these. And if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you. And I don't want this all on camera.
Okay, where do I begin? Let's start with Politics 101. I'm pretty sure in the pamphlet that they give you when you study how to become a politician, one of the first chapters is things not to say to a reporter. And I'm pretty sure in the first chapter, one of the things they say never to say to a reporter is, "I've never had to do this." Number one. I think in chapter 2, they try to tell you never to say to a reporter, "What part of I'm me don't you understand?" I mean, this is who this woman is. You see what I'm getting at? This wasn't the flare up with the employee that day wasn't an incident. It's who Katie Porter is. This woman is running for governor. She's on camera, and she still can't hide her nasty nature. There are just some people that are affable, like Paul Guerra. I've known Paul Guerra since he's like just turned 50. I've known him since he was 15 years old. I have never seen Paul Guerra with a scowl on his face. I have never seen him angry. I've never seen Paul Guerra angry. like visibly angry. Never in my life. There are just some people that have different traits, and there are some people that are just naturally affable. You all know one of these people. Well, Paul is one of those guys that's just naturally affable, gets along with everybody. Nobody says a bad word about him. And then there are other people, and you might even throw me in this category, where they're just kind of prickly and they don't have any kind of edit. I can get away with that as a talk show host, but if you have those traits, politics is probably not for you. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the reasons I never even contemplated getting into politics, because I am prickly and I don't have a filter and I don't suffer fools well. I don't. If I think you're stupid, you're going to know it. You're going to tell that I think you're stupid. You know what I'm saying? You know, because I tell you guys flat out. That's about as dumb a thing as I've ever heard. You have no idea what you're talking about. You can't talk like that as a politician. Somebody forgot to tell Katie. She just doesn't get it. That if in fact that is your personality, you better hide it. But you can't. You can't be on television as often as congressmen and senators or wannabe gubernatorial governors are and be a different person. People have tried it. Eric Swalwell tried it. I'm a distinguished congressman. Hey, let's go get bronze. Hey, chicky. Meantime, I would like to pass AB 37. Hey, baby, come over here. It's been tried. You know what I'm saying? My name is George Santos, and I am an I'm an aeronautical engineer, and I graduated from MIT. It's been tried, but it doesn't work. Politics brings out, for people that want to get to big levels, it exposes you. As I've always said, there is a chasm between a state spotlight, county spotlight, even big city spotlight, as compared to the national spotlight. And let's face it, we're California. We're the fourth largest economy on the planet. We are essentially a nation. And to win a statewide election, you basically have to campaign in a country. Because we're the size of most countries. We have the populace of most countries. We have the economy better than every economy in the world other than 3. And so all that television time and all that campaigning from San Diego to Eureka, it will expose you. And Katie Porter has been exposed. She is a despicable woman who, if it weren't for her own personality, might be in Congress, might be a governor, but it ain't never, ever gonna happen. Quick timeout. Laker ball fast approaches. We're in Oklahoma City, the capital of Oklahoma, one of 4 capitals that have the word city in their names. Utah, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Jefferson City is the capital of Missouri. Are you writing this down? Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's TRBS on a Tuesday, right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio. News.
Casey.
1230 KERN.
Wednesday edition, Clay and Buck will continue to discuss the ongoing Strait of Hormuz blockade. Are ships moving or not? What is the absolute latest? We will break all of that down. Primary day underway. What is the impact and what do we expect to see with the big primaries coming out of Tuesday? That will be the Wednesday edition of Clay and Buck.
Live at 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Well, if you don't intend to be as boring as me, Mr. Flores, and Mr. Burdick, and you're actually going to get out and do something tonight on Cinco de Mayo, the place to be, KC Steakhouse. That's right. I've tasted the boysenberry margaritas that Cassie brought in here yesterday, and they are outstanding. Plus, they're going to have all kind of taco specials. They've got all kind of different things going on. I suggest you swing by F Street and see what kind of party's going on at KC Steakhouse. And, of course, don't forget about the Stockyard that opens up on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday nights. They provide live music on Saturday. It is a great banquet room for hospitals and medical facilities that want to have luncheon meetings or election parties or graduation parties. And, of course, Bobby and Jimmy provide live music in the main restaurant tonight through Saturday. Where would you rather be on Cinco de Mayo than on F Street at KC Steakhouse in the capable hands of Cassie Biddle's incredible staff at KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
The beat was going strong, playing my favorite song. Tell it wouldn't be long, she was with me, yeah, me. I can tell it wouldn't be long, she was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll. So put another time in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. Come on, take your time and dance with me. I love.
That's funny. Where the hell did you dig that out?
The Mariachis. It's the actual band. They do covers.
That is funny. There's nothing like a mariachi band. There really isn't. I love mariachis at Mexican brunches. Love that. The 31-year-old was big on brunches. We went to brunch every Sunday. Every Sunday. And we'd go to these little joints because she lived way out in the Southwest. And we'd go to these little joints in mini malls, and they're pretty good brunches, actually. A lot of champagne. I love me some mimosas. I do love a mimosa. I have a new love in my life.
Which is?
Sherry DeVoe.
Ah.
I love this woman. She's thicker than a Snicker. One thing. She's a biscuit away from being a little too big. But I've told you about the video that I saw where she's kicking her legs. Well, I posted another one on Facebook from another angle. And it's so fascinating. Go to my Facebook and watch it. Because what's fascinating about it is she's standing there with her people, right? And we all know how the race ends. Her horse is last and comes back. And it's very, they go around once. So the race starts here for those watching on YouTube. This is the track, obviously. And the race starts here. And they go a whole lap around. And then it comes back and it finishes here, right? So you see her at the beginning of the race in the video. And she's just kind of nervous. And her fingers are going crazy. And she's with like 5 or 6 people. And they don't really have skin in the game like she does. She's the trainer. So they're just kind of like this, just stoic. But you can see she's a little nervous. And then obviously they're coming down the first stretch. So there's no drama. And they're going around the corner and there's no drama. And they're going on the far side stretch. There's still no drama. It doesn't matter where your horse is. There's still a lot of race left. So there's really no reaction from anybody in the group. And then when they get around to the home stretch, all of a sudden, she is the only one who reacts. That's what I found fascinating. If you watch the video closely, nobody else, they're all still very stoic. But Sherry goes like this. There's one portion where she goes, and the way I interpreted that, given the fact that nobody else even fluttered, she was like, I sense something. I see something. And then all of a sudden, you see her get more and more animated. And then it just goes nuts. Let me play this for you. It doesn't do it a bit of justice, obviously, but you get a sense from the audio just what she was going through. And just listen how many times she screams, oh my God. Because the first, oh my God, the race isn't over yet. The first, oh my God, is, oh my God, we might win. Oh my God, we might win. Oh my God, we're winning. Oh my God, we're winning. And then you see her collapse. Oh my God, we've won. Check this out.
I might pee my pants. You can definitely put that on.
They're in the gate.
Okay.
And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. And a great start early for So Happy.
I got to do this after the break. I only have a minute. And obviously the race was 2 minutes and 2 seconds, so I don't have time. I'll do it when we come back, though. It's really kind of interesting. And like I said, the audio doesn't do the video justice. You got to see it. But it's fun to see people win. You know what I'm saying? Particularly when it's a life's dream. This woman started walking horses at a stable because she needed a summer job. And she got ensconced. She became one of the few female trainers. And now she will forever be in the history books as the first female trainer to win at the Kentucky Derby.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. ERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The primary election Tuesday in Ohio set up what is expected to be one of the most expensive races for U.S. Senate this year as Republicans try to hold on to the chamber. While biotech billionaire Vivek Ramaswamy will face a challenge from the state's former health director as he seeks to keep the governor's office in GOP hands. In what promises to be one of November's most high-profile campaigns, former Senator Sherrod Brown easily defeated a challenge in the Ohio Democratic primary and will now attempt to unseat Republican Senator John Husted. And in primary elections in Indiana, one Republican state senator lost to a challenger backed by President Trump, while another incumbent survived in 2 of 7 races that are testing the president's influence in a deep red state. SRN News.
Diabetes. Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
Red and blue lights on the dash of an SUV were used to pull somebody over Sunday morning on South Union Avenue, and Bakersfield police say the person who was pulled over suspected that it wasn't a real officer and made a phone call. Bakersfield PD tracked down the SUV and arrested 40-year-old Nicholas Leyva, who was booked into the Lerdo jail. Last year, a convenience store in Ridgecrest was ripped off of a scratch-off lottery ticket display that was loaded with $5,000 worth of tickets. And police say one of the two suspects was captured last week in a Cal City police chase. 19-year-old Joshua Lambert has been booked, and police are still looking for 23-year-old Jordan White. Today, the average price for a gallon of regular is up another penny at $6.12, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries in Kern County. Are you looking for a doctor who truly listens? Someone who cares about your health and respects your time with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations? Well, it may be time to learn about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA partners with most Medicare Advantage health plans, giving you access to a large, community-based network of outstanding physicians and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Local doctors, trusted hospitals, personalized care. Medicare Advantage plans offer benefits beyond original Medicare, but understanding your options for 2026 can feel overwhelming. That's where we can help. Call 661-554-4544 today to learn more about your Medicare Advantage choices. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help you understand your coverage options and make confident decisions about your care. Again, that's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
When life calls for a little extra, a kitchen upgrade, paying off debt, or that dream vacation, Valley Strong Credit Union is here to help. With a Valley Strong home equity loan, you can tap into your home's value with competitive rates, flexible terms, and local guidance you can trust. Get approved in as little as 5 minutes, with funding in as few as 5 days. Your goals are within reach. Visit valleystrong.com to get your offer today. Valley Strong Credit Union. Grow your possibilities. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 45650.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
This is classic. You've got to incorporate this into the rotation. These guys are great. That is so funny. 1, 2, break free. 812-537-6812. KERN. So as I mentioned, Jonathan Kindernecht, 30-year-old Uber driver, is being accused of setting the Pacific Palisades fire. He set it on January 1st. Let me just read from the Los Angeles Times so I don't screw this up, because I didn't know, or maybe I forgot, maybe I did know and I just forgot, that he apparently set the fire on the 1st and then it reignited essentially. Prosecutors, let me read this. Prosecutors allege the evidence shows the Lockman fire that erupted on Hidden Buddha Hill on January 1st, which officials thought had been extinguished, smoldered for days and reignited amid hurricane force winds on January 7th. The Palisades fire killed 12 people, destroyed 6,500 structures, 6,500 homes destroyed in one of the nicest neighborhoods in Los Angeles, if not in the nation. And can you imagine getting killed in a wildfire? What happens? You just get trapped? You're stuck in a neighborhood and you can't get out? And I bet it's different than a house fire. Because you know how you die in a house fire, don't you?
Asphyxiation.
Yeah. But I bet this is different. I bet you actually die from the flames, right? Because the smoke isn't contained. So you're not going to asphyxiate. You're going to burn to death. God, I didn't know that 12 people died. That is unbelievable. Cost billions in damage and insurance claims and destroyed the opportunity for people that are going back to get insurance for the future. Insurance companies are refusing to insure folks in that area. Within 3 weeks of the fire, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive Agents focused on Rinderknecht, who called 911 repeatedly to report the Lockman fire. You know, that is typical. Isn't it weird how certain crimes have certain characteristics? Like sexual predators can't help but re-offend. And that's the thing about arsonists, is they typically call in their own fires. Isn't that crazy? That is incredibly typical of arsonists. Within 3 weeks of the fire, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive Agents focused on Rinderknecht, who called 911 repeatedly to report the Lockman fire. Investigators seized a Bic barbecue lighter from Rinderknecht's car with his DNA on it that he admitted to having with him on the Temescal Canyon Trail in Pacific Palisades, according to the trial brief. Investigators got warrants for his cell phone and a host of electronics after tying the vehicle he drove for Uber to the scene, even noting he turned back in his vehicle to follow firefighters back to the burn. Quote, on December 29th, 2024, just 2 days before the Lockman fire, defendant recorded 3 videos of fire engines departing LAFD station number 27 in the Hollywood area. So this arson thing is a whole panoply of different, I don't know what you would call it, fetishes, calling in your deal, following the firemen, all this nonsense. While recording defendant said out loud, apparently to himself, they're coming for you, bro. I'm telling you, you got to get that mental effing brains in order and not be liking this craziness. They're on their way. Don't worry. Oh, this boy is sick. Jeez. Asked by an investigator on January 24th why someone would set the blaze, Rinderknecht said it, quote, would be out of resentment of the rich enjoying their money, end quote, and, quote, compared such an act of desperation to Mangione's killing of a United Healthcare executive on New York streets in December of 2024, according to federal prosecutors. Yeah, he saw Luigi Mangione as, like, he called him Robin Hood. So he equates with murdering someone who's involved with healthcare to taking from the rich and giving to the poor. That's called insanity. And then to use a Bic lighter, think about that. $1.39 lighter, or whatever the hell it costs, I have no idea, cost the city billions of dollars, and families who, as Randy and I were talking about it, I know that area pretty well because I went to high school about 10 minutes from there. And I went to high school with a bunch of kids who lived in Pacific Palisades because Brentwood High School is about 2 miles from Pacific Palisades, just up Sunset Boulevard. And I can tell you firsthand that many of the kids that I knew that lived in those areas, their parents inherited those homes from their parents, homes that were bought in the 50s and the 60s, or parents that bought the homes back in the 70s and the 80s for what, maybe $500,000, and now they're worth, millions, and now they have nothing. Nothing. All because one guy resents billionaires and thought this would be his revenge. This kid should never see the light of day. Here's the problem. I've really buried the lead. The prosecution of this kid ain't going to be easy. This is going to be a tough case to prosecute. It truly is. And, you could say all of this is circumstantial. The fact that he called it in, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure they're going to get him. But I don't think it's going to be a slam dunk case. I really don't. But this is just, it's so tragic. And to hear that was his reasoning, they just resented rich people. But you know what? And I debated on whether I should say this. I believe as a country, we are going to have to start to get used to this, because I'm not going to go as far as say a civil war, but as this chasm gets larger and larger between the haves and the have-nots, because most of us are in like we got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got it. I can take care of myself. I can feed myself. I can house myself. I can clothe myself. I can even help my mother. I can even help my nephew. So I got it. I'm not a have, but I'm certainly not a have-not. You know what I'm saying? But the I got it's, guys like me, are getting smaller and smaller. And the haves are getting bigger, and the have-nots are getting smaller. And they smaller, respectively speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, the numbers are growing, but their income is not. And the haves are growing. There are more of them, and they're getting more. In other words, the richer are richer, the poorer are poorer, and there are more poorer people, and there are more richer people. And there's really nobody in the middle, just guys like me. And they're beginning to resent this. Luigi Mangione, this knucklehead. And the larger that chasm gets, because we were talking about this morning, there are just some things that Americans can't do anymore. Like, you can't go to a Super Bowl. Most Americans can't go to a Super Bowl. Couldn't do it. Can't do it. It's going to be to a point where some folks won't be able to fly. I'm telling you, in a couple of months, if this war continues, there'll be a segment of society that won't be able to afford to fly. You know, will I be able to go to Beaufort, South Carolina if it's going to cost me $700 round trip? Probably, but I'd have second thoughts. If it cost me $700, $800, $900 to go see my uncle, I might be like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think this guy's situation is a bigger picture of what's going on in America. That's what I'm trying to say, as inarticulately as I am saying it. Let's go ahead and take our final break, and we'll walk you up to tonight's gubernatorial debate, which starts in exactly 16 minutes on Cable News Network, my former employers. Although technically, I suppose I was never employed by CNN. I was an intern in Atlanta, where I met Ted Turner, if you consider meeting him being in the same room with him. And I also interned at CNN in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, right on the corner of Sunset and Cahuenga. They used to have a Jolly Rogers in the first floor of that building. I think they're located on the 8th floor of that building on Sunset, Cahuenga. Pretty sure. In the meantime, keep it locked. Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. Well, no. Are we running the debate or are we running Jennings?
Not sure.
I think we're running Jennings.
Oh.
Regardless, keep it locked. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1, AM 1230, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk a little medicine with our friend Dr. Vip Dev. John Cox from the Californian will be joining us to administer the news quiz. I will ace it because I generally do, because I get to keep my own score. We will have state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Support comes from Amazon.
Whenever you're ready.
You know what I almost said to Terry? but I was afraid she'd take me seriously. I almost said, "Oh, great, another ball cap. That's exactly what I need." But I was afraid she'd take me seriously. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Three, two. I think Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, made major news in the press room. Karen Levitt is on maternity leave, so he took questions on Epic Fury, and he says that is over. And now we're moving on to Project Freedom, which is to secure the Strait of Hormuz. And he said that he believes that the War Powers Act is unconstitutional. That is huge news. 3, 2, what? 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, it's Wednesday. Howard Marcus. Hey, do we have the Van Alstynes tomorrow? Are they still gone?
I could not tell you. They haven't told me anything about this. But you do have Stan Moe.
No, they're not back to the 8th. They're not back to the 8th. All right, ready? How much time I got? Can I still do this? 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, it's Wednesday, so our former federal agent Howard Marcus will join us. And it's time to talk to our good friend Stan Moe. The Piles Boys Camp barbecue is coming. Oh, God damn it. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, it's Wednesday. Our former federal agent Howard Marcus will join us. And our old friend Stan Moe will join us as he does each and every year to tell us about the Piles Boys. Do I have time still? 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, it's Wednesday. So our former federal agent Howard Marcus will join us. And our old friend Stan Moe will join us as he does each and every year to tell us about the Piles Boys Camp barbecue coming up. All that, me and 3, it's TRBS. News Talk 96.1, AM 1230. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. I'll see you at 3. Jesus Christ. I love these guys. I'm serious. I want them in the rotation. I love these guys. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Eight 842 KER. Let's clear the board and go watch them go at it in. Where are they? I think they're in Monterey. I believe they're in Monterey. Hey Siri, where is tonight's gubernatorial debate?
Okay, I found this on the web for where is tonight's Cuba trial debate.
Cuba trial debate. What do you got, Chris?
Working on it right now.
Let me see if Siri's got it. Hey Siri, where is the governor's debate tonight?
Okay, I found this on the web for where is the governor debate tonight. Check it out.
The governor's debate is.
Not seeing an answer.
I'll tell you.
Everyone just keeps saying it's the California debate.
California governor's debate airs tonight among high states. The June 2nd primary election is less than a month away. So we have a presidential debate, which is CNN and Republican judges. Democrat Tony Thurman is qualified for the CNN debate. At Pomona College. It's in Pomona. It's at Pomona College. All right, very good. What else you got on the board? Let's get Sam Hill out of here.
I know it's trivial, but you are pronouncing Becerra's name incorrectly. Although it is spelled Xavier, it is pronounced Xavier or Javier. I'm sorry.
Oh, is it really Javier?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Javier Becerra? Xavier? All right. Thank you. That's a big deal. I didn't know that. God, I've heard his name said on television 100 times. Is everybody mispronouncing it, or is it just me?
Oh, I'm pretty sure people have called him Javier Becerra.
Have they been calling him Javier?
I think so, yeah.
Well, why didn't you type me up?
I honestly didn't catch you say it.
Javier? Xavier? Whatever. Well, we better get used to it because, well, we'll see. But I got a feeling, funny feeling, he's going to be on the ticket. What else you got?
The government owns the land here just like the government owns land in China. Don't pay your taxes and find out.
I was wondering where you were going with that because what are you talking about? That was pretty funny. I was a bunt down the baseline. They didn't field it. Stayed fair. Base hit. Nicely done. What else you got?
Ralph, but the whole point is that the strait was open. Israel and the U.S. started bombing Iran, and now we are wasting all of the money trying to get it back open when it was already open to free trade.
So what would you all do if you were the leader of the free world? And Israel just had one of the most heinous, ugly, nasty, disgusting attacks, unprovoked attacks in the history of their relationship with Iran. Let us not forget October 7th, where young people just wanted to go to a music festival, and some of the women left with broken pelvises. Broken pelvises. They didn't fall. They were raped to death. Do you understand that? Can you put that in your mind? Can you even compute that? Having a young woman being raped so viciously that her pelvis breaks and she dies from her injuries. That's what happened to about 1,500 Israelis on October 7th. Somehow, liberals and anti-Trump people just conveniently forget about that and forget about Hezbollah and forget about the bombing aboard an American ship that killed Marines or the truck that went into a barracks and killed Marines. The 47 years that we've had to deal with these idiots. And many of you, I probably heard you say, we should make a parking lot out of this place. And yet when somebody steps up and finally does something, you want to criticize him. What is your answer? Just sit around and do what Barack Obama did and send them millions and millions of dollars and kept some ridiculous nuclear deal that trusts that they'll be honest? Do you really think, because I watch television at night, I watch Abby Phillip and Collins and these CNN shows, and all the liberals allude to the Barack Obama JPOAL, I forget what the hell the nuclear deal they made with Iran was, and that was going to keep us safe. Really? Why? Because Barack brokered it? Are the Iranians not the very same despicable, god-awful people that funded the October 7th attack? And if it's based on that fact, you truly believe that they were going to adhere to Barack's agreement? The people that chant like we chant God bless America, the people that chant death to America, you really think they were going to adhere to that document? Well, if you do, you're as idiotic as Barack Obama and as incompetent as his administration was when it came to foreign policy. And if you've got a better way to go about this, I'm all ears. But the reality is somebody had to do something at some time, or somebody in the future would have had to do something, unless you honestly believe that based on the Barack agreement, that the Iranians would have forever given up hopes of having a nuclear weapon. Is that your thesis, liberals, Democrats? That if we had just stuck to Barack's agreement, everything would be hunky-dory, and the Iranians would absolutely, based on Barack's agreement, give up their desire to have a nuclear weapon. That is about as dumb a thing as I have ever heard. They're the same people. What do you think, the IRGC is different now than they were when Obama was in power? These same people that just slaughtered tens of thousands of their own citizens? You really, honestly, deep in your heart, believe that a regime that is capable of killing tens of thousands of its own people were going to adhere to some kind of pact, some kind of contract, some kind of agreement that they're not going to seek to get nuclear weapons? You really believe they were going to stick to that? You know, Ayatollah, we can't go after this because we signed an agreement with that brother from Hawaii. So let's just put away all our uranium and don't enrich it because we signed on the dotted line with Barack. So our dreams of having a nuclear weapon are over because, you know, we signed right there on the dotted line. That makes no sense. Sorry, Lisa. Good googly moogly. Unless you really believe that. Yes, Ralph, I believe it. I believe if they had kept that agreement that the Iranians would have just said, you know what, we don't really need a nuclear weapon. Yeah, you know, they would have just, why? We signed the deal with Barack. We don't, no, screw it. Give me a break. Wake up. So naive, so stupid. Good googly moogly. One more and I'm going home.
Lily has chimed in.
Hi, Lily.
Regarding traveling, wouldn't you love to go stand on the beaches of Normandy? I have claustrophobia, so I would never get on a plane to Europe, but that is an ultimate trip.
Yes, you know who you should talk to about that? Who will just talk for hours about it? Kathy Abernathy, because she's been there. And she says it's an absolute must see. And I agree, because I've seen pictures, I've seen video, and to be able to sit there and to think that any human being was able to scale the sides of that cliff amongst massive gunfire and to see the beaches where is so incredibly accurately portrayed in Saving Private Ryan, I would be overwhelmed, absolutely overwhelmed. That's funny. I didn't know you were a bad flyer like Miss Marsh. I did not know that. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good question. Could I handle a European trip? Could I handle a 14-hour plane ride? Because, you know, I'm nervous Nelly just going to D.C. or the East Coast. 14, 15 hours? And it's not like you can get drunk, because if you got drunk, you'd be sober halfway through. I guess you could drink your way to Europe, but that'd be a horrible first day in a brand new continent. I got to get out of here. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on, and I will rap to you tomorrow.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN. 96.1 FM, K241CI, Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. There are primary elections in Ohio and Indiana this evening. Billionaire biotech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy has clinched the Republican nomination for Ohio governor and will face off this fall against the state's COVID-era health director, Democrat Amy Acton. In the U.S. Senate race there, GOP incumbent John Husted will be the Republican nominee and will oppose Democrat Sherrod Brown, who will be trying to regain his old seat. Across the border, one Indiana Republican state senator has lost to a challenger backed by President Trump, while another incumbent survived in 2 of 7 races that are testing the president's influence in a deep red state. Blake Feichter, who had Trump's backing, defeated State Senator Travis Holman, while Senator Greg Good held off a challenge from Trump-backed Brenda Wilson on Tuesday. Trump targeted 7 Indiana state senators who defied months of White House pressure by voting against mid-decade redistricting. 2 people were killed and 3 others were wounded at a shopping center north of Dallas in an area known as Koreatown.
Police say that the attacker knew the victims and that it was a known business relationship. After a short chase on foot,
69-year-old Sung Han Ho was arrested about 4 miles away at a grocery store. John is the board chair for the Dallas-Fort Worth Korean American Coalition and says it's a peaceful, hardworking community.
We're shocked and we're mourning.
As the community digests the details of the investigation, John says,
We want to try to see what we can do for the victim as well as help the community heal.
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
On Wall Street, the Dow up by 356 points, the Nasdaq rose 258, the S&P advanced 58. More at townhall.com.
Looking for a great real estate